Good evening, folks. Welcome to another hobby hangout. Let me just make sure that I don't have any. Make sure I've muted all my sites and stuff like that, so I don't have any sound bouncing back at me. It's nice not to hear myself coming back on a loop. How is everyone? I hope you're well. I hope what day is it? It's Wednesday. I'm kind of losing the. I was going to say the will to live there. I'm losing track of what days it is. So, how's everybody? Let's see what we got in the chat tonight before we kick off. Peter Nicholas was in nice and early. Hello, Peter Nicholas. He said, I'd like to join in tonight, but only got some Primaris Marines to paint. Listen, mate, whenever I kind of put a thumbnail up of kind of what it is, it's what I'm doing. You can do whatever you want. It's a hobby hangout. You do your hobby, and everybody else in here can do theirs. That's the whole point, mate. Tony Howell was basically just saying exactly the same thing. Thank you, Tony. Scott Longworth was in nice and early as well. So he's just base coating his plague ready for the live stream. The second best day of the week. Nice. Well, mate, thank you very much. David Mackey was saying hello, early folks, back in an hour. Mark Berracloth says he's going to pop in as well. Mr. Trainer Guy said almost time. I have all my Walking Dead characters done outside of Rick on a horse with 17 zombies. And Mantic has a new deals on boxes on their site. Yeah, anybody that didn't see the email from Mantic today, they've got their kind of, it would have been their like open day this weekend. So they're doing a virtual open day, and they've got a few nice deals to look at already on their site. If you're into Walking Dead, there's some really, really good deals on there actually. And actually, if you're not into the Walking Dead, they've got some really good deals to get you started. Robert Marshall saying his paint table set up. He's just waiting on one more child to go to bed. I know that feeling, mate. 10 minutes ago, I was putting my son back to bed for about the third or fourth time tonight. As we took his kind of safety gate off his room a few weeks ago, and now he's discovered he can just get out of bed and run around the house when it's bedtime. So yeah, fun and games in our house, mate. Phil Wilkinson saying hi everyone. He's still putting together his Primaris Hellblasters. Nice models though, mate. Nice models. Steve's saying even all more orcs on the table tonight. Second unit of Longax started. Cracking through them, mate. Cracking through them. David Delaney, good evening, sir. How are you? He says, big hello from New York. I just got my thank you email back from James Baldwin about Alaya Kickstarter, and I shouted BlackJack Legacy out in my email back, and he had nothing but praise for you, Andy. Well, thank you very much, sir. It's very kind of you. And yeah, I like what James is doing. He was telling me yesterday that he basically sent about 300 emails back, like individual emails with personal thanks, rather than just that automatically kind of ping back email thing. He actually took the time out to thank everybody that had backed it on the first day there yesterday. So yes, I think that's it's a nice personal touch when when a company's sort of it's still relatively small. It's pretty much James and a few volunteers at this stage, but he's got a couple of great games on his hand, and yeah, it's nice to see that personal touch. Scott Longworth saying, evening everyone who's painting. That's just been covered up there a little bit. Painting what tonight? I have my plague on the table, and while I'm waiting for paint to dry, building up some Infinity miniatures. I guess that's a good time to say what I'm painting tonight. So as you could see from the thing, we're painting Deadzone, we're painting Veer-Myn tonight. But I thought, let me go to press the right button. I thought what I'd paint is, I've completely forgot the name of them now. Are these called Nightmares or something like that? Yeah, they are Nightmares. I thought we'd paint the Nightmares because the normal kind of Veer-Myn are quite a bit smaller, and that's going to be a little bit sort of more fiddly to see on camera and stuff. Or I zoom in and then I'm constantly going off camera more. So I thought I'd paint one of the bigger guys. I've got 4 here ready to go, should I need to kind of move between them. So I've got this guy who basically has some, I forget what the weapons are called. I'll need to kind of learn this kind of stuff. But he's got some kind of sort of plague, sort of spitter type thing on his left arm, and he's got a nice big driller there on the right. I've got this guy who's got essentially some kind of long-range, double-handed plague spitter type thing, which is really nice. And I've then got this guy who's similar to the first one, kind of drill on his right arm, this kind of plague spitter type thing, sort of, I forget what they're called. Somebody in the chat will tell me at some point. And then the last one I've got is basically a double driller, 2-handed drills, or sorry, 2 single-handed drills, because there is a double-handed drill to be fair. And I just thought I'd just go for rule of cool. I have absolutely no idea how they play in the game. I have no idea if I've built them wrong. But what I would say is, for the price of them, they are fantastic models. I've got another 21 over there, including the 5 I've got on the desk here, I think it is. And I was really, really pleased with the quality of these. I didn't realise the Veer-Myn all came hard plastic sprues. And yeah, it's really nice. Just the detail. I'll just move it up a little bit so you can kind of see. The detail on these are lovely and sharp. Really, really crisp. And I've just kind of zenithal primed them so I could kind of see some of it on stream and stuff. But I'm rather happy with these. I am rather happy with them. So yeah, what else we at? Pat Sinnerton as well says, evening all, got a squad of Banshees on the table, looking to have their lenses painted. Not my favourite part of the hobby. Mine's building, mate. I hate building. Barry Cliver says, howdy, sunny and rather nice here in Chicago. Hello Barry, how are you doing, mate? 6 in the head, Palmsy there is saying hello all. Peter Koeman, evening all. Jonathan Elgie says hello from sunny Scotland, which I get to say without a word of sarcasm for once. Yeah, get it while you can, mate. We're expecting a bit of a heat wave tomorrow, so I am officially taking a day off tomorrow. Because I worked all weekend doing the drowned earth stuff. I intend to be working all this weekend as well because the weather's not meant to be very nice. So the weather's nice tomorrow. My wife took a day off work and I'm planning to have a proper day off. So yeah, that's tomorrow. John Estel says, evening all, he's got the Newcastle Brown Ale in his glass and the frogs on the table. I've got a can of Brewdog Hazy Jane tonight. I got this there it is. I got this completely by mistake from Sainsbury's. I ordered 12 cans of something else. They didn't have any, so they sent me 4 cans of this instead. So I thought, it'd be rude not to try it, wouldn't it? So let me just open that while we're there. Tony Howell is in as well. Steve Clark's in, saying, evening everyone. His Deadzone starters finally turned up today. Nice one. He's got a terrain prepped but not primed and a couple of Walking Dead for the painting table. Not painted many since the early 90s. Well, I'll tell you what, Steve, welcome to the Hobby Hangout, mate. I hope you enjoy it. The idea is everybody just gets together, we kind of hang out, bit of painting, just something to pass the time, a little bit of background noise, you get to kind of interact with it. And also it's almost like kind of, you know, it's a bit of motivation, kind of make you feel accountable. There's a hobby stream on. I'll make a point of hanging out and getting some painting done. We've got Busey in as well, saying good evening, hobbyisters. And then, of course, the whole chat jumped off the top of my screen as everybody come flooding in. We've got Henrik in as well, saying good evening, mates and matinees. Craig McCartney's in as well, deciding what to do. Blizzard is in, he says he's on his phone so he can paint too. Nice one, mate. Duffy's greetings from a soggy Levittown. Shame it's soggy, mate. Got Barry Nixon in. Tony saying, evening my lovelies. Matt Mountain's in his painting as well. James Hart in. Josh Price. Luke Pryor says, what's up, bitches? Peter Nicholas has got his 5 Dark Imperium Intercessors on the table. He's going to paint them Dark Angels. I thought I saw you had a bit of green paint out, mate. Bobby Clark's in doing some plasma glow with the airbrush. Praying he doesn't slip. We've got Jamie Newton ready to get his hobby on. He has some Core Space, Frostgrave and Carnival. Is it Carnival or Carnival to paint? Henrik's got some Enforcers with bases to dry. Fresh bases, sorry. Krabby Vision's in. Hello, mate. How are you doing? Tiberius is relaxing, tired from work, mate. That's it, mate. Put your feet up, just chill. Peter Koeman's painting his Enforcers. Blizzard is painting his Nightmares as well. Peter Nicholas says those Veer-Myn are nicely detailed. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, mate. I'm just going to kind of dive in and make the most of it, mate. I think that's the plan. Busey's got those Veer-Myn this afternoon. Yeah, I honestly didn't realise they were this kind of newer sculpt, I think. And this is not doing Mantic down, but some of the photographs on their website don't really show the miniatures off to their best, I would say. And I'm actually really surprised with just how sort of, I mean, I'll wreck it by the time I've painted it. but just a bare prime. Lee Reynolds is just subscribing there. Thank you, Lee. Yeah, just a bit of prime just kind of shows them off, doesn't it? Starty's Man Cave, hello, mate. Scott Longworth is saying Heatwave, it's his 40th birthday tomorrow. Happy birthday for tomorrow, mate. I'll have to remember to send you a nice message. Mark Coley saying no Deadzone tonight. He's waiting on some paint to arrive. So he's painting his Poxwalkers. Bobby Zunk's in as well. Hello, mate. How are you doing? He says he just popped in to say hi as he's working today. Paul M says, yep, he's got his Star Saga Veer-Myn undercoated silver. Nice one, mate. Tonight to get them base coated and dipped. That's the way, mate. Luke's on his Burrows and Badgers and his Hobbit houses tonight. And Steve's on a nice drop of cider there. So, I am absolutely winging this, mate. I've got no idea what colours I'm going to be painting this tonight. I think I'm going to do them red because I like red stuff. But we'll just crack on and see what happens. So I think what I'm going to start with is I'm going to get the Basilicum Greer contrast paint, and I think I'm just going to use this on the trousers, just sort of between the legs and at the back, because contrast paints are good, but if you leave them too late, and you go over, it's a right funny on to tidy them up. So, what else we got? Sean Blake. Good evening, Sean Blake. He's painting some stone cast tonight. He's glad to have something to listen to while I do it. That's nice, mate. That's the whole point of these things. Just kind of hang out, just have a little, get your paint on, get your stream on, and see how we do. Paint the Veer-Myn red and black so they're on brand. I think unintentionally, mate, that's exactly what I'm going to do. That's exactly what I'm going to do. So I don't have any of the contrast sort of thinning mediums, so I'm just using Lamium medium just to thin it down a little bit. And then we'll get some of this black. Not black, sorry, we'll get some of this grey. I used quite a bit of contrast paint when I was painting the Drowned Earth miniatures on Saturday last week. So they didn't reach me till Friday lunchtime, I think it was. And then I had to clean them up and build them up and get the bases done and get them dry. And then I spent a few hours on Sunday painting them up as well. Saturday painting them up. So, and then I spent all day Sunday filming the battle report stuff. So yeah, it was a bit of a busy weekend, but I actually I chilled out. I sat and watched, what was it, Altered Carbon. I started working my way through that series and just sat and just relaxed, basically, just sitting painting. It was quite nice. So for all it was work, officially it was work. It was quite nice just to chill and hang out. Mr. Trainer Guy says, these guys look the best. I was looking at them 2 weeks ago, as you do, and they look great. Nice, mate. Peter says it's coffee and chunky Kit Kat for him. He may finish the buds on Monday, but I'm actually going to have a drink because I opened it and then just put it down. Scott said he's going to paint his up like plague monks when he picks them up. Nice, mate. So then, folks, how's everyone's week going? Are you being hard at work? Are you working from home at the minute? Just to get a bit of a feel for kind of what people are up to and stuff. How many people have been like furloughed and are staying at home basically with nothing to do? How many are still going to work as normal? How many people are working from home? Just gets me a bit of an idea kind of as to what everybody is up to, because it's all very different at the minute, and it's nice to to get a feel for it. So I am on camera, and that would certainly help if I check that before I start painting. Yeah, so this is Basilicum Greer. It's what I've found, and how I've sprayed these, by the way, is I've sprayed them with a Vallejo black primer, which I really like. It goes on lovely and smooth. It goes on really nice, that black primer. And then I've let that dry, and then I've come in with the Zenithal highlight, just using Vallejo white paint, basically, not a primer, just white paint. And what I've found is it gives it quite a nice base for the contrast paints to go over. It just kind of helps to define the model a little bit. It gives a little bit more of a nice blend between the highlights, the natural shading that contrast paints do, and the real dark parts of the models, which kind of gets picked out from the what's it called, from the actual Zenithal painting. So yeah. Oh, well, I've probably seen these rebs ever arrive, and I like them. I'm probably going to pick up the other rebs first. I'll tell you what, mate, your stuff is taking a bit of time at the minute, isn't it? It's a shame that as well, because to be honest, I mean, it's a nightmare at the minute. Royal Mail especially are just, I mean, they're not delivering every day now, which isn't helping matters. So I'm assuming that's kind of causing things to back up a little bit more as well. So yeah, it's not great when you're waiting for stuff, mate, is it? Yeah, Cubby says he's been working pretty hard on the Storm Raven, to be honest, mate, and loving it at the minute. It looks fantastic, mate. You've done an absolutely cracking job with that Storm Raven. You really have nailed it. You've done a cracking job on it. So, yeah, keep that up, mate. Keep that up indeed. I'll tell you what, I'm not sure I should have thinned this down quite so much. David Delaney, anyone have some pointers for fine detail painting? I'm detailing my clones as characters from 501st and Ashoka clones. Each one has some small details. Just painting detail, I guess it depends what you're trying to do. I would literally just, what you can do actually is try and do it. Sometimes, I'll tell you what I will say, sometimes a small brush isn't always the best thing for you. Sometimes the best thing to do is to use a bigger brush, but with a really good like sort of point to it, because that bigger brush will hold more paint in its belly, if you like, in the brush. The bigger brush would hold more paint. So sometimes that's a little tip as well. This one at the minute seems like it's kind of bellying out a little bit. Barry Nixon saying literally built 2 of these guys last night. Matt says he's working as normal. David said he really wants to make that stuff. Yeah, I think it's difficult because I don't have a lot of mates, to be fair, like kind of who I'm in contact with regularly, and the people I tend to know are the people that I kind of used to work with and stuff like that. Like, and because me and my wife both work at the same place, like obviously a lot of our kind of friends come from work as well, and obviously I know exactly what's happening with all of those. So I haven't really got a feel for how many people are literally have nothing to do, or like, you know, all this whole thing about everybody seems to be like, you know, you've got plenty of time on your hands, you should be finding all these wonderful things to do. I've got no idea how many people are actually have the time on their hands. Right, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a bit of Bugman's Glow on the upper parts of the arms, actually on all of the skin, but I think I'm going to highlight the hands to a lighter one, and I'm going to darken down the kind of the muscles on the forearm, on the biceps and stuff. Sean saying he's been good, my dude. Yeah, he's working from home at the minute. Peter saying business as usual, so not doing too much. Corvus Games Terrains in says, evening Andy, how's everyone tonight? Hello to you. Thank you for coming in. Luke saying he's furloughed as he works in a restaurant. He hasn't been at work for the best part of 7 weeks now. Yeah, it's I tell you what, mate, restaurant industry, anybody working in kind of hospitality, hotels, bars, restaurants, kind of entertainment type stuff, I tell you what, it must be tough, because Lord only knows how long that lockdown stuff's going to go. Obviously things like shops and stuff will probably start to open up at some point, but entertainment is the thing that feels like it's going to be a bit longer, I think. Peter Kuhlman says he has to work at 6 AM tomorrow. He's been home for a couple of days, so get some assembling and painting done. That's nice you've had a bit of break, mate, anyway. So at least you're getting a bit of hobby on, a bit of hobby going on. Richard Smith saying, evening folks, hello sir, how are you? Starty's Man Cave's recycle bin man. Recycling has tripled with lockdown, panic buyers. Days have become heavier and longer. This is the other side of it. Hello Starty's Man Cave, by the way. This is the side of it we don't really get to see, isn't it? Is like, what's the knock-on effect? So obviously my old job before I started doing this full time was working designing toilet rolls for a living, working in product development. And for all the company I worked for, obviously toilet rolls were kind of panic buying. Sales had gone through the roof. Scott Longworth will tell you about that. The department I worked for, basically all of our sort of development projects were just canned and knocked on the head, because essentially it was like we just have to devote all resources to just making stock and getting it shipped out. So it's funny how it affects things very differently around the world. Steve said he's been isolating since last Wednesday, had to go for his test today. How are you feeling, mate? Are you feeling kind of okay? Are you feeling particularly ill? My sister kind of has kind of made a full recovery. She's back to work now. She went for a test, and they confirmed that she had the all clear. Confirmed it was kind of 90% sure that she had actually had it, but at least she's kind of been tested and she knows she's clear now anyway, or she certainly was at the point of testing. And hopefully, mate, mate, you're on the mend as well, mate, as well. Don't like to see anybody getting ill, especially at this current time. Corey Vision says, cheers, board, bit to go yet, probably finish it tomorrow night stream. Nice one, mate, nice one. Yeah, it's looking really good. I'm loving the freehand and stuff you've been doing on it. Palmsy's saying his house and pet sitting work's out the window at the minute, but he's getting a bit of paid writing work this week, so sent articles off for that. Nice one, mate. I'm sure you've told me before you do a bit of writing work and stuff, but what kind of topics is it? I'm not sure if I know what kind of sort of stuff you actually write about. Paul M's working from home, workload's almost doubled, but I'm enjoying not commuting. I tell you what, mate, it'll be interesting to see how things, I say it in inverted commas, go back to normal. How many companies start to realise they can save a few quid by getting people to work at home and save on kind of offices and all that kind of stuff. It must change things in the future, I would imagine. Tony says his other half's senior care worker at home, came at an old folks home, so our life is different routes. Same family unit, I still need to babysit and look after the pooch. Well, that's the other side of it as well, mate, isn't it? It's like for everyone that's still going out to work, there's always somebody who has to look after children and stuff as well, mate. Paul M had a day off today as the stress was really getting to him. I tell you what, mate, it's like anybody who's got sort of feeling it and stuff, do not suffer in silence under any kind of under any circumstances. Everybody, I'm having some bad days, and I'm kind of living the dream here, like getting to do the job that I wanted to do, and even I'm kind of getting some down days where the little one's getting sort of, and I mean this in the nicest possible way, but you know, he's bouncing off the walls as well. He doesn't know what's happening. He's missing his friends. He's not getting to kind of go to the swimming pool and go to soft play and all the kind of stuff he likes to do. So it's getting to everyone, mate. Yeah. So do not suffer in silence, bud, and take the time that you need to kind of sort yourself out as well. Devon Turner says, evening everyone. Hope everyone's staying safe and healthy. Thank you, mate. Tony Booth Lydon's started painting his Yujing from his Up Colstrom set. I haven't even seen any hide nor hair of anything coming to me. I'm starting to think mine's either been lost or it never got sent in the first place. What colour are you painting them, mate? Scott said he's still making the good stuff. Jonathan Elgie back at work this week after being furloughed for a month. Strangely glad as he felt a bit lost. Yeah, I can imagine, mate. I mean, it's nice to kind of have a little bit of time off or whatever, but it very quickly becomes like what you're going to do with all this time off, because not like you can kind of go and have a holiday or something, is it? So yeah, I can imagine it's just having that kind of a bit of a sense of purpose sometimes, isn't it, to get on and get back to work and that. But yeah. John France, evening all. Good evening, John. Arnold is in as well, so he's finishing his 5th horse for the 1st Cavalos Death Riders unit. Very nice, mate. Barry saying entertainment will definitely be later. Governor of Illinois said yesterday he's not opening the state up again until there's a vaccine. Wow, mate, that could be some time. That could definitely be some time. Matt Mountain says he's facilities manager at a wildlife park, mainly there in case a tiger gets out. I tell you what, then, mate, you must be enjoying, or you must have been enjoying watching the Tiger King going, that's disgraceful, you should never do that. I tell you what, bud, that must be an interesting job at the current the time. Obviously, you've not got a lot of visitors, but the place has to still open and stuff. And there's a farm local to me, which kind of like has like loads of animals, obviously, but it's like a visitor centre type thing with like lots of different types of animals. The little one loves going there and kind of seeing all the different things. And they were kind of sort of appealing for supermarkets to kind of, if they had any food that was going out of date that they were throwing away and stuff, to donate it, because obviously they're getting no income at the minute to kind of keep the place up and running, and the bill for animal feed was just astronomical. Like, I can only imagine what it costs for like a proper, like a wildlife park. This was just like a local farm type thing. So yeah, I can imagine, mate. Where are we at? John France hasn't been on furlough, still doing 41 hours a week. Jealous of the hobby time you've all had. I haven't had any hobby time, mate. I've been working as well. It just happens to be that my job is hobby time now. So, but to be fair, where I've kind of struggled really is the fact that when my plan was to be doing this full time, my little one will be at nursery, my wife will be at work. So I'd get up, drop him off at nursery, I'd have all day to do my filming and stuff. And then he'd obviously come home, I'd be doing my live streams in evenings, that kind of stuff. But because my wife's still working from home, she's still really busy. And obviously I'm doing most of the looking after the little one. Yeah, it's quite stressful. You kind of at that stage where, you know, you think you kind of you've got reached the point that you want to be at, and yeah, there's the world goes into lockdown and everything changes your plans a little bit. John said he's mainly working from home and he's only going out to take funerals. Johnny, are you doing kind of like sort of any streamed masses or anything like that, mate? I know. I don't know if people know Douglas Painter, who's Reluctant Artsy, quite often pops into the chats and stuff in our Facebook group. He's I forget what kind of minister he is, but he's certainly of some kind of religious denomination. And I think he's been trying to do some kind of like live streamed Sunday services and things. But I kind of admire anybody who's trying to kind of like do the best with what they've got, really, to try and get their jobs done and to reach people. Corvus Games, for instance, thanks to your Deadzone Veer last week, I had to dust off my unbuilt starter set. Enjoying the build process so far. Really loving the Warpath universe. I've been watching a few, and Matt Mountain might kind of help me out here. I've been watching a few Warpath videos to learn a little bit more about Warpath, because I didn't realise, I don't know why I didn't realise this, but I didn't realise until Matt mentioned it, was that Warpath was on the kind of movement trays, if you like. So I started watching it to try and find out a little bit more about it. I don't know why, but Warpath seems to have completely missed me by somehow. But the more I look into some really squeaky noises there. I think my son's just opened the blind in his bedroom. Kind of threw me. Yeah, I've been looking at since I've been looking into Deadzone a lot more and seeing all the different models on the site. There's some really nice kind of big vehicles and stuff for that game. So yeah, I could be tempted if this grows a little bit. I'll tell you what I'm going to do, folks. I'm going to text my wife downstairs and tell her to check on the little guy, because he is definitely just opening up his blinds and letting the sunshine come in. There we go. Where are we at? Bobby Clarkson, he's working as a commission painter, is longer now with the isolation. Are you finding you're busier, mate? Are you finding that you're not as busy because people are sort of have more time on their hands to paint stuff themselves? Is that causing you any differences? Phil says he's got his sister's feeling better. Thank you very much, mate. Appreciate that. Barry Kleiber's working from home since March the 15th, putting in 10, 11 hours a day, weekends and all. It's hard, Barry, isn't it, mate? It's I don't know what you do, mate. But yeah, it's hard. It's quite hard to kind of find that balance. I mean, struggle's not the right word, because I'm absolutely loving what I'm doing. But I'm still finding out what new normal is now, because I never seem to stop. I never seem to stop working now. So because my job is also something I absolutely love now, and it's also my hobby. What I'm finding is that getting the boundaries right. I haven't quite found that yet. So I feel like I'm pretty much working from the minute I get up in the morning till the minute I go to bed at night, and then weekends as well. So that's why I'm having a day off tomorrow. I've intentionally said to my wife, she's got a day off work. The weather's going to be glorious tomorrow. I'm intentionally kind of not doing any hobby stuff tomorrow, or any kind of like channel stuff, to physically have a day off and enjoy a bit of sunshine in the garden. So yeah, it's kind of weird. I don't exactly know. I don't know where to switch off at the minute, because this is the third day in a row I've live streamed. So I like I said, I basically, Saturday I was painting, Sunday I was filming, Monday I was editing all day, live streamed Monday night, got up Tuesday, uploaded the videos and stuff for the Drowned Earth stuff, did a load of stuff in the afternoon. Then I was live streaming last night with the guys from the Drowned Earth, just kind of celebrating the Kickstarter it launched, and it funded in like 23 minutes and stuff, and he just wanted to invite me onto the stream and say thank you for the videos and stuff. And then today I set up the live stream first thing this morning and did like the thumbnail and stuff while I was sitting having breakfast. And then I've been sitting playing with my son today, and while he's been a bit quiet, I've been building these models, getting these ready for tonight. As soon as my wife finished work, I then came into here and got everything set up for tonight. I'm sitting here now and I'll be painting until God knows what time. But it's just funny that I don't see it as work. So I need to kind of just align that really. Before I get kicked out. Bomsey saying he works for a couple of clients in travel and duty-free industry, press releases for new products in duty-free shops, etc. Obviously, it's been very slow, but nice to have a bit coming. Yeah, every little helps, mate, as they say. Busey saying he's working still at the moment with a few painting jobs, still in the bag, but nothing new coming in. I guess that's the thing, mate. Some of the stuff you'll have is stuff that will have been hanging around since it got stopped, I suppose, won't it? Steve says he can't seem to shake off the cough. He feels okay, except for that. I guess that's a blessing in itself, mate, isn't it? Really, it sounds like you've definitely got it, but it sounds like it's not affecting you too bad at the moment. So yeah, fingers crossed that it only gets better from there, mate. Peter said a funeral of an uncle took place this week. It's not close enough. Family couldn't go to give respects. That is the sad thing, isn't it? I'm hearing that a lot of them in it, sadly. Scott saying up Calstrom models are amazing. Just built the Lankai. I tell you what, I'm going to say before I go any further. One thing that annoys me about Infinity is the fact that I can't pronounce 90% of the models. I don't know what half of the models are called. You don't need to see my messages. I was just about to. I'm forgetting that you can see everything I can see. I was just reply. That was the reply from my wife. She just checked on my son. Corvus Games, for instance, he's seen bigger uptick in my terrain orders since the various lockdowns. Definitely working as much as before, but with more family time. That's good then. Yeah, kind of win-win in that respect, as Peter's saying. Devon's saying, how are people like in Colstrom? I've tried the Infinity multiple times, but feel like I'm not smart enough to play. That's exactly where I am, mate. Do not feel bad about that. Everybody that tells me it's meant to be crunchy and it's meant to be difficult and all that kind of stuff, fine. I'll just play something else in that case. I want to love it because I love the universe and stuff like that. But I must admit, I've read the rule book like once very, very quickly for the new Code 1, and it doesn't, for me, on initial reading, it doesn't feel streamlined enough yet for it to convince me. However, we'll see how that goes. Let's see. Mr. Trainer is saying, Mountain's saying it's hard at the moment. We're getting donations. It costs us 90 grand a month to survive. Honestly, mate, these are the kind of stuff that we just don't even factor in, isn't it? Like that kind of stuff. Covers is saying, yeah, can't complain though. Hobby time's rationed. Mr. Trainer Guys is finished basing all his Walking Dead guys. I can play it all day tomorrow. And right as I finished, my new super glue went all over my other hand. Ouch. Great new safety featured super glue. God. The only thing that super glue is guaranteed to stick together is your skin, that's for sure. John says he's doing recorded services so he can mix in other voices. Sorry, mate. In my head there, I just had you doing impressions. We get about 100 views each one. That's good. It's good to see that people are kind of like, people are getting use from it. Like, you know, like you've got an audience there that wants that kind of stuff. James is saying he's just popping in to say hi. Hello, James. Catch you later on, mate. Tony saying kind of a ceramic white with blue accents. Oh, I look forward to seeing that, mate. Evening, David. David Mackey saying hi there. Mac G as well, saying sorry he's late. Had a picnic lunch with Grandma on the porch. I tell you what, mate, that sounds very, very nice. I'm kind of getting into the chat and forgetting I'm sitting here to paint as well. Let me just shake this paint up before I go back and then read some more chat. Craig saying he works in health and safety. He's working from home. There's a good chance to catch up policy reviews and training material. Really boring stuff, but I'm grateful I've got a steady income. I tell you what, mate, you have to take every small win, every positive at the moment. It doesn't matter what it is. Take every positive you can. So, folks, I am going to be painting Mephiston Red, which is a very, very nice red colour by Citadel, for those that don't know. And it's one of their base paints, so it's got a bit more pigment in it, and it always seems to go on very nice. I've got my crutch colours. I think we've talked about this before, and red is definitely one of them. Red and blue. I love painting red and blue. I was going to paint these yellow, but because the kind of like the studio job's yellow, I thought I'd just one of my eyelashes is on my wet palette there. I thought I'd avoid the yellow and just do my own take on it, I think. And because I'm not intending to go overboard on these from a kind of detail point of view. I'll stick with my crutch colours because I know my shortcuts to getting highlights and stuff on those. Peter says he's got an Audi, can't afford a Porsche. Tony says, oops, just noticed that those are the panel colours. That doesn't make a difference, mate. If you're painting panel a different colour, you paint them any colour you want, mate. They're your minis. Mike G and Pomsy saying, do you worry about mixing your hobby and your job? I kind of do a little bit. However, my intention is to kind of mix it up. So I've got like other hobbies that I've kind of like neglected really through being busy with work and doing the YouTube channel and stuff. I've got other hobbies that I used to love doing that I've kind of neglected. So I used to go paintballing. Obviously that's not much use, not paintballing, sorry, airsoft. That's not much use at the minute. I used to play a lot of kind of computer games, like video games, and I haven't done that in absolutely forever. So I kind of figure that what I'll probably do is try and have some other hobbies as well, alongside doing this kind of stuff. And the other side as well is a lot of stuff I do is to be put on the channel. So things like painting the Drowned Earth stuff, while I enjoyed it and whilst I enjoyed playing the game as well, I was doing it purely for content. If I wasn't doing the YouTube channel, I wouldn't have that to do. Where things like this, I'm painting this because I'm doing it as part of the challenge with everybody else. And my Kings of War army, my dwarves, that's for me. Like how often that kind of stuff ends up on the channel is kind of remains to be seen really. But it's for me. So I'm kind of like, I'm trying to delineate when I'm doing stuff, when I'm painting things. Am I painting for the channel because it's something I want to record? Or am I painting because it's for me to play in my own personal time? So I think that's how I'm kind of separating the two at the moment. So yeah, I think it's just going to be a fine balance. That, mate, I'll get there. And I think as my son gets back to nursery and I start to get like sort of daytimes back and things, the amount of time I'll have to work on stuff, it'll come to a point where actually maybe the lines are not quite as blurred. But it's all just exciting at the minute, mate. That's the thing. Like getting to do this full time is quite exciting. It's what I've been working towards for quite some time now. So I guess I'm just, I'm probably just diving in with both feet. I'm seeing like a growth in subscribers. I'm seeing a growth in like views as well. I'm seeing a growth in watch time. So it's all like, obviously Patreon has gone up as well as people now know that I'm doing this like as a career, if you like. People have been super generous and helping out on Patreon and supporting me that way. So it's all really motivating. So I'm really enjoying it, and that's why the lines become blurred, I think. But it's not quite been a month yet. It's maybe been a month. That's about it. 4 weeks. So yeah, it's still early in the process. Corvus Games Terrain saying, what colours are you planning for the Veer-Myn? I guess you know now. I guess you know what colours I'm planning. Barry says he's an engineering project manager. Diesel engines. We build trucks, buses, fire and rescue, military. So we're essential industry. That's quite the job, that, mate. Nice. I was originally working in engineering, so I served my apprenticeship as an electrician many years ago. Was a electromechanical engineer for a number of years after that, and it essentially ended up just getting kind of promoted out of that role into many other different things, and kind of went into facilities management and project management and loads of different things. So I haven't, other than doing a little bit of stuff around the house, I haven't done any electrical work in quite some time, but it's still there. It's my fallback. If all things go up, I'd probably go back and retrain for my electrical stuff. As long as we've got electric, people still need electricians. So yeah, engineering, mate. Nice skill to have. 6 in the head. I need to just keep remembering Bewsy. Pomsy. Is Christian playing D&D? He is, mate. This is his D&D night. I think he does a Wednesday night once a month or something like that. So yeah, he's He's off the hook from his duties tonight. I say his duties. He's a very kind volunteer. It's not like it's his job, to be fair, and it's very much appreciated, I tell you. Keeping you Robble in check and making sure that you all get the links to stuff. Where are we up to? Daniel saying, good afternoon, everyone. Rat's looking good. Thank you, Daniel. How are you doing? Arnold saying, biggest bonus about starting a new army during this lockdown period, getting it done. Yes, mate, 100% with that. At least even if you're working full time, like, it's not like you're going to go out anywhere on a weekend and stuff, or go out on an evening. So I suppose in theory you might still be getting more time than usual. Corvus is saying, Punk IPA. It's not, mate. That's what I ordered and I didn't have any left. So they sent me Hazy Jane, which is a New England IPA. Let me get it on camera there. Which is all right, actually. Surprisingly all right. It's got quite a... It's got a different aftertaste. But it's all right. I would drink it. I would drink it again. Where are we at? Peter's saying Palmsy snuck in. He's been in all night, mate. Barry Kleiber saying his music business is pretty much dead, though. Some recording projects coming through for higher live performance. Won't be back for a long time. Yeah, sadly, mate. That's unfortunately going to be the way, I think, isn't it? Live performances are going to be a little bit... Mountain, Red Veer-Myn, go faster. Thank you very much, sir. They certainly do. They certainly do. Well, they better anyway, mate. Lisa, 90k a week. My two girls eat that much in a week too. Yeah, I think my teenage boys could go through that as well, in fairness. Tim says, even Andy Knoll enforced family time over. My turn now. That's the other side as well. And I mean this in the nicest possible way. But I'm so used to having time to myself, like quite big chunks of time to myself. And I'm not like a massive like extrovert or anything like that. It's not like I go out a lot and have a massive like social circle or anything. But I do like a bit time to myself. Do I want those to be silver? No, we'll just keep going. I get used to having quite a bit of time to myself. And now, like with my wife at home all day working, and the little one at home all day as well playing, it's kind of hard just to get a bit of time to yourself as well. And even on an evening, like I was talking to my wife about it the other day, because the last thing I want to kind of do is like sit and not fester on it, but you know what I mean. But like not bring it up if you like. But like, because she was saying, well, you know, there's nothing stopping you from just like go and play on the PlayStation, or like on an evening or something, or go and like go and do some painting, or just do what you want to do. But it's kind of weird when we're home together and I haven't seen her all day because she's working upstairs. It's kind of weird. It's just there's a lot changed all at once. Like obviously my entire career's changed. The little one being at home more often as well, and like obviously the whole lockdown thing. Everything's just coming at once. Normal is not something I understand at the moment. I don't know what normal actually is yet, and I think that's where it needs to kind of find its rhythm for me, I think, at some point. Where are we at? Gene saying, hi all, doing a cleanup to move to the next paint project. Things are neat, so I'm deliberating maybe some more spies or something for Rangers of Shadow Deep. Ah, nice, mate. Those spies were looking pretty cool, man, I must admit. John saying, I'll do some impressions next time. If you start doing impressions, mate, as part of your service, I definitely want a link to that live stream. Steve said, I did my Veer-Myn in purple and black. Nice, mate. I'll have to see a picture of those, mate. I don't think I've seen your Veer-Myn. Anyway, I thought you were Plague was the only true faction, mate. Are you letting your guard down a little bit there? Palmsy saying, can't believe you still do airsoft after what happened to PJ and Duncan. Well, to be fair, mate, that was paintballing. He went blind because of a paintball incident. But to be honest, I started doing airsoft because my teenage lads wanted to do it. So I kind of like they were telling me about it. I'd never even heard of it before, and they were telling me about it, and they were saying, "Oh, can we go? There's this site not far away," and blah blah blah. So I kind of just took them along for the day to kind of just to see what it was about. paid for them to do it. And then I was just basically sitting, having a cup of coffee while they were out playing real life Call of Duty, I suppose. And one of the guys that was like a marshal on the side had said, like why you're not playing? Like, do you not want to just get kitted up and get playing? And I thought, well, you know, I just thought it was going to be kind of kids type thing, you know. I didn't realise it was more grown-ups as well. And he went, look, after the break, get some safety gear on and just come out with me and come and walk the course and stuff and have a look. And you can see what the lads are up to, kind of thing. So I kind of went out that day, got my safety glasses on, my high-vis jacket, and kind of went out with him in the afternoon and just had a wander around. And it looked like such good fun, I must admit. So the next week, I decided to kind of rent the gear and stuff as well and go out with them. And I was absolutely hooked. I just absolutely loved it. Had such a good laugh. And to be fair, it was the only real exercise I was getting as well at that point. So I really enjoyed it. So I kind of got hooked into it. We all bought our equipment and stuff. All the camo gear, the guns, the kind of hard hat stuff, the bump caps, walkie-talkies, combat gear, boots, the full shebang. Proper got into it. And like I said a few times before, when I first started my YouTube channel, my initial intention was to do an airsoft channel. So because I was watching lots and lots of airsoft on YouTube, and that was what really inspired me is to start doing a channel. And I realised I wasn't very good at airsoft, so the footage I was recording with the GoPro strapped to the barrel of my gun was pretty garbage, because I never really shot anybody, or you couldn't really see kind of what exactly it was I was doing. So, but yeah, that was where it all kind of started, mate. That was initially where I was gonna start from. Foul Mood Central's in. Hello, mate. Yoakum's in as well. Hello, Yoakum. Says, hope everyone's fine. Time to continue with these Walking Dead terrain. Hopefully be ready for this weekend's games. Nice. Pusey was trying to remember. He stayed blind, mate. He never did get his sight back, I don't think. I mean, he's looking well for it on on Saturday Night Takeaway these days. But yeah, back in the Biter Grove days, mate, I don't think he ever got his sight back. Scott says, didn't realise you played airsoft. It's been a good few years since I played. I've played. I used to play quite a lot. I haven't played in quite some time, to be fair. Well, that's just jumped off my chat. Matt Mountain's donation there come through. Thank you very much, Matt Mountain. Tim says he's drinking some Beavertown neck oil. I tell you what, mate, that is lovely stuff. That's probably my favourite at the moment, I would say. There's a pub not too far away from me, has that on draft, and I do like a cheeky pint of that when I go there, but it's going to be a little while before I get to do that again in any kind of real way. I am just, like I say, folks, I'm kind of winging this, really. I've got no real idea of what needs to be what colour. I'm just kind of deciding on the fly, really. So this is you're almost getting to see my test model at the same time as well. Normally what I would do is, if I've got more time and I'm a bit better prepped, I'd paint a test model off stream, so I knew exactly what what my intention was, and then you would see me kind of painting something else, and all my colours would be laid out. I know exactly what I was doing. I'd have a reference model and stuff, but this really is just proper hobby tonight, really. I'm just playing it by ear as I go. I'm not rushing through it. I'm just kind of painting for fun and painting for relaxation as well, I think, really. It's quite relaxing just to... Because, I was going to say I haven't really got a deadline. I've kind of set myself a deadline of getting all of this done or getting my 150 points done by the middle of June for the little competition thing. Not that I can win it, but I still want to be able to kind of complete my own challenges. There's no point me setting a challenge that I can't complete myself, is there? That's not very motivating for you lot. Where are we at? Palmsy's saying he's been searching for them. I tell you what, Palmsy, they are on there, mate. I've screenshotted them somewhere before. I'll see if I can find the screenshots, but you might be able to see them. Actually, I'll see if I can dig them out. They're in the Facebook group. I put some shots in there when we talked about it on a live stream a while ago, but they're definitely there, mate, or they certainly were. I can't imagine somebody's taken them down, or maybe they were getting so many views after I mentioned it that they've decided to put them on pay-per-view now. But yeah, it's very kind of, I'm not exactly famous from it, do you know what I mean? It was fleeting passes you would see me on screen. But yeah, that's always my claim to fame, that, mate. Right, how we're looking? How we're looking? So there's a couple of pipes come down the back here that I've just seemed to have kind of painted over the top of that one there. I think I'll pick them out slightly different colour. I'm deciding whether I like those panels different, and maybe do I do them like a silver plating or something like that, but we'll see how that goes. I think we'll paint the helmet as well. Who else we got? Who else we got in here? We got Tesudo Maximus. It says 6 AM here, but I'll join you for a beer. I'll tell you what, mate, as they say, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, isn't it? Mr. Trainer said I'm working on the same and some weeks a bit more. I do security for communications company, one of the biggest in Ireland, phone lines, network and internet maintenance. I can imagine that's kind of like almost critical stuff at the minute, mate. Nobody wants to be running phone lines to go down or internet to go down at the moment, does it? So I can imagine what that's like. Peter says he's enjoying putting green on the intercessors. Hope everyone else is having as much fun. I'm enjoying it, mate. I'm glad you are. Daniel said he's working at the moment. Tech support never stops. Yeah. Bobby says he's paint model on cork. Like, have you tried any painting handles? Do you know what it is, mate? I actually put this onto a painting handle. This is the one I was going to paint tonight. And for whatever reason, I've just put it down and then just started painting this one instead. I put them on these corks for when I primed them, to be fair, mate. That's all. So yeah, so yes, I normally do use a painting handle. But Marshall Stewart's just subscribed. Thank you, Marshall Stewart. I don't know if you're in the chat or if you're just browsing through my selection of videos. But thank you, Marshall Stewart. Yeah, so I've got, what was I saying? Yeah, so I've got a painting handle made, but for whatever reason, I forgot to use it. Barry's saying, BlackJack is an electrician. No kidding. I actually have 3 different journeyman cards, but I was a low voltage C card electrician for a long time. Yeah, mine's all kind of, I never really did any kind of like house wiring and stuff like that, although I was qualified to do it. It was mainly kind of like factory, like maintenance electrician type stuff and PLC programming and sort of electrical control panels and stuff. So yeah, there you go, mate. That was my first proper job really after leaving school and leaving college. I didn't have a clue what I wanted to do, so I decided to get a job in a factory basically where they made printed circuit boards just for some money. And then while I was there, they were looking for apprentices for like a like engineering program. And I thought, you know what it is? I have absolutely no idea what I want to do with my life. I may as well give that a try. So yeah, I was quite fortunate to get that job. And the rest's history, really. So who knows where I'd be if I'd never applied for that apprenticeship. I could have been doing something very, very different. Peter says, you guys it's still working. Please keep safe. And for those not, I hope you get back soon. I completely echo those comments, Peter. Thank you very much. It's nice that we've kind of got a nice community to kind of hang out in, but I mean this in the nicest possible way. I hope you all get back to your jobs soon, and because that means the world's starting to get back on an even keel again. There's a lot of detail on these, but I'm having to try and work out what is what. Because they look so good, but I'm trying to decide whether bits of it is armor or whether it's actually like sort of the ears and all that kind of stuff. Is that face? I can't tell if that face is that like an armored piece on the chin. I think it is. We'll paint that one in because I think the mouth actually kind of looks like it almost. I can't imagine the mouth pokes through when it looks like there's some kind of gas mask stuff on the side of it. So I would imagine, and it's got like little rivets on it, so I assume that's armoured as well. We'll paint it as if it is armoured, I think. And I think we'll do some silver on that on there at some point. Where else we at? Paul M says he's got 3 Veer-Myn Trappers base coats dipped in dry, and dipping models is a real morale booster. I quite like dipping, actually, I'll be honest. I think I said a few times, I've got a video half filmed, I need to finish it off, about dipping models and about like kind of why you don't always have to sort of, not everything needs to be kind of painted to the best of your ability. Sometimes just getting stuff done is kind of reward in itself. So yeah, I've got that kind of part filmed really. What I've done is I've painted up the Bolt Action starter set using all the army painted stuff, because Warlord Games do a paint set called Rapid Deployment, which is all the recommended colours for the Germans, the Americans, the British forces, and it comes with the army painted dip in it. So I've used those just to show really, just to show how they get used. Bit of chat going on there. Tiberius is saying he did airsoft, great fun, still got all his USMC Marpat and Mull. Yeah, it's you can get addicted to that kind of stuff, mate, can't you? Mark's saying, have you seen this Super Fantasy Brawl box? Looks nice, makes me excited. I did see it, mate. Yeah, the white cover. To be fair, I also paid for the what is it, the Feldherr case as well. So most of my stuff will end up sitting in the case. So it's but yeah, it's a nice box, mate. I quite like it. I like it sometimes when the Kickstarter stuff comes in a slightly different box. It just kind of, it makes you feel like you've backed something slightly different. Because I always feel a little bit cheated when the Kickstarter stuff arrives in it, or before it's even arrived, it's available to buy in the shops. That always makes me think like, oh, bloody hell, I should have just waited. So yeah, it's nice to get something a little bit different. I do think though, however, I think I accidentally ordered 2 sets of the what are the, you know, like the statue things. So yeah, I think I ended up with 2 of them. Steve says, when I ever need some time alone, I just pop my headphones on and go for a walk around the village. Works a treat. Orton the Plague on my main faction, but I've got everything else. I've been trying to get out for a walk, but I think between my wife working and my little one looking after him, it's been quite difficult to actually kind of to leave him with her when she's working during the day. And then when it comes to a night time, I'm normally goosed or I'm live streaming or something like that. So I just need to kind of find a balance really. Where are we at? Barry saying played paintball years ago, was on a team. After the kids though, not so much. It's funny, I used to play, you just mentioned golf there, I used to play a lot of golf, mate, before my twins were born. I was playing probably about 4 or 5 days a week. I had a job that worked shifts as an electrician as well. So I worked like 6 in the morning till 2 in the afternoon. And then I would go straight from work and go and play a round of golf. And then the next week I would work 2 in the afternoon till 10 at night. And I would go and have a round of golf in the morning before I played work. So I was playing like 4 or 5 days a week, basically. It was pretty good. But then, yeah, the kids come along and put paid to that kind of stuff. Peter saying, oh, that was you sneaking about in the woods. Jason, nice to see you, Jason. What are you drinking? I am drinking Hazy Jane, mate. This is not a sponsored advert for Brewdog beers. It says, embrace the opaque, it says on the side. Hazy Jane, New England IPA. Yeah. Like I say, it came as a replacement in my Sainsbury's order. Tony saying, never heard of airsoft, heard of paintball, but that never appealed. So it's kind of like paintballing, but instead of being shot with paint pellets, you get shot with little plastic sort of BB balls. And I tell you what, it stings. It really does sting. But instead of having like a paintball gun that looks like a massive big kind of hopper of stuff on the top, firing paintballs through with air canisters and stuff, these are battery operated kind of air guns really. And they're quite accurate. And they look like the real thing as well, to be fair. So I'll get you a photograph, mate, of the guns that I've got. 6 in the Head says, when did you first develop your interest in blackjack and gambling? I don't know if that's a serious question or not, mate, but I actually do like blackjack. So it's not like I've been to the casino quite a lot, like sort of in like years gone by, but I do like a little kind of flutter at the casino once in a blue moon. Like Las Vegas is my favorite holiday destination. And if I go to a casino, I would only really play a blackjack. I find it is a kind of a game with a little bit of skill involved rather than just watching a ball spinning around and hoping that your number comes up. But what I enjoy most about it is the social aspect of sitting at the table and talking to the other people you're playing with. You don't get that so much in the UK. If you go to Vegas, honestly, it's the way I kind of saw it when I went to Vegas. Like, there was a day that, like, me and my wife were there. My wife was quite really jet lagged, so she decided to go to bed early, and I went down to the blackjack table. And in Vegas, basically, if you're gambling, they give you free drinks while you're sitting playing. So I kind of figured I've got X amount of money to spend. That's what I would spend kind of on a bit of a night out instead. So I'm going to get free drinks. I'll sit there, and I sat at a table with like the nicest bunch of people and the most entertaining bunch of people I have ever met. I had such a good laugh. I came away like $500 up or something like that as well, which was good. But it was that kind of social aspect, and I think that was kind of that was what I enjoyed. The gambling side of it, like I don't bet on the horses, I don't bet on the pools or anything like that, or football results. I'm not really into the kind. I don't think it's the gambling. I think I like playing the game, and I like the social aspect of it really. So yeah, less about gambling, mate. Whenever I play, I've got like a set amount of money, and that's it. Like I wouldn't start trying to like chase my losses or anything like that. David Delaney said, I got shot in the eye when I was in high school. Thankfully, it was a ricochet and hit me. Otherwise, I'd be wearing a patch. Ooh, I tell you what, mate. It's painful when you get shot with. You can lose a tooth. You can definitely go blind playing airsoft, and you can lose a tooth if you get shot in the mouth. I mean, when I play, I've got safety glasses on. I've got a face mask on as well. So it's it's serious stuff, man. To be fair, like the health and safety is quite important about it. Like you never sort of put your magazine like your hopper of like I don't even know what they're called. Like I don't think they're supposed to call them like a magazine when you're playing airsoft. But whatever it is contains all the little ball bearing things, the little plastic BBs. You don't put it into your gun until you're on like the kind of like live side of the range and stuff. Peter said, "Only play paintball if they let me use a tin of paint and a 2-inch brush." Luke says, had to go to a barbecue, B&Q today, sorry, get some timber and bits. Wow, they've been cleared out. Amazing how many shelves were bare. I've heard the queues were like miles long there, mate. I was wondering if it was still the same. Craig saying he's building and painting some of his Deadzone minis, has not added to his existing forces. Looks like my Forge Fathers and Plagues are getting some reinforcements. Nice, mate. Scott says, how are you picking a winner for the painting competition? It is just a random draw made. So everybody that completes the challenge gets entered into a draw, and we'll pick a winner out, mate. We'll just put them all into a random number generator, and we'll pick out a random number. So that's that's what I mentioned before on the live stream on Monday. Basically, is that it's my challenge stuff will never be about who's the best painter, because what ends up happening when you do something like that is the same people win all the time. Like I've seen it when you do like tournaments and stuff. You like the painting competition always ends up getting won by the same people all the time. So it's never about how good a painter you are. It's more about can you stay the course and can you complete the challenge really. So yeah, as long as people complete the challenge, they get entered into the competition. So yeah, that's the plan, mate. Palmsy saying he did actually see that picture of me. Yeah, it was quite some time ago now, mate, but it'll be still kicking about in the Facebook group, I think. Tim saying, great choice of beer. It's named Neck Oil after the founder, Logan Plant, Robert Plant's son of Led Zeppelin. Is it really? I did not know that. His granddad, when going to the pub, he'd say he was just off to oil his neck. Do you know what, mate? I never knew that was the case, but I love it when beers have like a story behind them. It's like I used to work for Scottish and Newcastle breweries, and obviously like Newcastle Brown Ale is obviously their most famous beer. They're not around now; they don't exist anymore now. But yeah, the beer still does, and that was basically called like a bottle of dog. And the story behind that was because blokes used to kind of nip off down to the pub and take the dog with them and say to their wives and stuff, I'm just going out, taking the dog for a walk, kind of thing. I'm just taking the dog out, and they would nip down the pub, take their dog and get get a pint of brown while they were there, kind of thing. And that was why it was always called a bottle of dog. So it's funny how you get these nice little stories. So folks, next I'm doing Evil Sun's Scarlet, which is just a bit of a brighter red, and I'm just thinned down with a bit more Lamy and medium, and I'm just kind of going around and putting a bit of a highlight on it. Hopefully it just brightens it up. At some point I might put a wash over it as well, just to like sort of darken into the recesses, and then come back and highlight it again. But I like to almost bring it up to almost orange in the highlights. I like how it looks. Where else are we at? Corvus Games saying go guys. Oh, got to go, guys. I'll catch the replay later and check out how your Veer-Myn turned out. Thank you very much, mate. I appreciate you calling in. And before I have, can you tell me how you do your base for them Deadzone minis? It's just sand, mate, to be fair. It's just a mixture of sand, some little bits of ripped up cork to make like bits of rocks and stuff. There's a little bit of gravel kind of mixed into there as well. That's it, really, PVA glue and that. That's it, mate. Tony saying, could one of you electrician types take a look at my question on the Facebook group and help out, please? Yes, mate, I saw that you were asking about that kind of stuff. I'm probably a bit rusty at it, to be fair, and I haven't done a lot of stuff with like miniatures and that, but I'll take a look, mate, and I'll see if I can sort it out for you. But I think somebody mentioned about getting, you know, the little candles you can get, which have the LED candles. I think sometimes it's just as cheap to rip them apart and just extend the wires on those, and you get the effect you want. They can look pretty impressive. Where are we at? Scott saying, on high detail models I prime them and then do an all over wash with a non-oil wash to pick out the detail. I've done that in the past, mate, as well. I tend to just do what's it called, just like a zenithal prime on them now, mate, which gives me a similar kind of effect. Peter Max says, evening all, just popping in for a bit. Hello, Peter Mac, how are you doing? Arnold saying he's army painted dipping biggest. That's just jumped to the top of my stream. Where was it? Yeah, biggest bonus is speed. A slightly less impressive finish, while the contrast paints have a nicer finish but take longer to get right. Yes, mate. Yeah, it's contrast paints are still pretty fast compared to just like what I'm doing now, just trying to kind of like layer things up and stuff. The reason I'm doing this is because I don't have a red contrast paint. Otherwise, I probably would have just used that. And I think I mentioned on might have been my last painting stream, or it might have been on Monday. I've been considering kind of picking up a more of a range of contrast paints, because I feel like I'm starting, since I started doing more zenithal priming and really coming up to a high white, I feel like I'm starting to kind of get the best out of contrast paints now, or certainly the best for me. I feel like it's really starting to kind of get some good effect. So yeah, I think I might invest in a few more different colours of contrast paints, because I've only ever really bought them when I've had a specific like sort of job in mind. Because they're not cheap, I didn't want to go out and just buy the entire range. So it's not looking too bad, folks. Happy with how that's turning out so far. I thought you might have been you might have been kidding there, Palmsy, joking, because you have gamblers wanting to join the Facebook group. I tell you what, mate, I always that's true actually. There's not a day goes by that I don't have somebody joining the Facebook group or trying to join the Facebook group, and I actually even put questions in there saying, this is for the tabletop games channel, blah blah blah. What like miniatures games or board games do you play? And people still answer with blackjack, roulette, craps. And it's like, you're not reading this. So yeah, every day that goes by, I have to reject somebody from the Facebook group because they're there for the wrong reason, or they're there under false pretenses. You can see that, I don't know how well you can see that in camera, but you can see just a really kind of like really thinned down version of that red. It's just, and I'm just layering it on basically now. It's just kind of like brightening up. And I'm just kind of picking at it basically, just keeping going. Just on the high spots really. Not looking too bad. I think we will brighten that up a little bit further as well in a bit, but while that's drying off, I think we'll do some of the metallics now. I think. Where are we up to? Mark's saying version of Airsoft was picking out air rifle barrels with a wet bug roll and shooting at each other. I remember that as well, mate. Ty Beeston used to play blackjack with children when he worked in an after-school club. If you won a hand, you got to connect 4 counters. If you got 10, you won a game. It's good for maths, mate. It's a good game for maths. It's an even better game for card counting. Gene saying 80s kids games, we had wizard wars and tried to shoot each other with Roman candles. Luke said when he had a demo game of Super Fantasy Brawl at UK Games Expo, I knew immediately I wanted it all. Really nice game with fantastic aesthetic to the minis. I was really fortunate, mate, because Mythic Games, the UK office is in Newcastle. I'd contacted Az, who was then their kind of community marketing manager, if you like, and he kind of invited me along to go and like demo the game before it had even been announced. So I got to go and demo it. I've got a demo set of it actually at home, and I played like 3 or 4 games with him, and it was like, yeah, this is exactly the kind of thing I've been looking for. I'm really looking forward to coming. My only worry at the minute is that I feel like Mythic as a company have lost their way a little bit, and this is the kind of game that needs organised play, because it's their only game that's going to be in retail stores. And they did have somebody in the Newcastle office who was employed to be their kind of organised player manager, and obviously they were let go with a lot of the UK stuff. And I feel at the minute it feels like it's just kind of bumbling along in the background. There's not a lot of news on it. I really, really want it to do well, and I hope it gets well supported. But I think at the minute, a combination of it launching at a time when obviously organised play and face-to-face play is not really going to be a thing, but also I feel like they've taken their eye off the ball a little bit. So I've no doubt the game will be great. I just don't know how long it'll last. If you look at games like God Tier is in a similar position really. That's exactly the kind of game that should be being pushed as a competitive play, a bit like Underworlds. And I don't see a lot of noise from Steamforged on that either. It's almost as if it's out there now. They made their money from Kickstarter and they're moving on to their next Kickstarter. And it's a shame, because I've heard good things about God Tier as well. William saying, I saw a photo that was a result of a guy being shot in the scrot with a paintball. Guy looked like one of his eggs was a small eggplant. Ouch. Mark was saying, hi all, just finished working painting some lab technicians from Star Saga. Nice mate, nice to have you in. King Johnson as well says, hola hombres. He's still getting deliveries done in the wild panhandle of Texas. Yeehaw! David Mackey says he's got a nice cherry porter on the go. Ooh, nice, mate. As well as paint. Actually, that reminds me, Luke, was it you that was sharing a picture of a beer that you'd bought, which was like some kind of, was it like Colombian coffee or Vietnamese coffee or beer or something like that? It sounded awesome, mate. Did you see you got that from Tesco's? Because if you did, I might have to go shopping there. Tea lights, that's the word I was trying to look for, mate. I couldn't remember what they were called. Sorry, David Mackey, I was halfway through your question there. It was a long day today. Deadlines are always a crunch where I work. Currently, it's 2 foot from where I paint. Mark was saying he's opened his Deadzone starter set and can't figure out how to build the terrain to match the box art. I think I have less than what is needed. I can't remember what the box art's like, mate, to be fair. Luke said he was lucky to still be working for Zatu Games when the contrast came out, so I bought the lot with a healthy staff discount. Yeah, that's not too bad, is it, mate? It's just a bit pricey to pay like full price and get the entire range, because there's quite a lot of them now. Peter saying 5 Marines base coated, so a beer reward is in order. Definitely, mate. Scott saying dishes are washed now, back to painting, slowly building his contrast paint range. Peter says, did you make any nightmares with the big 2-handed drill? I didn't actually, mate, no. I ended up because I tell you why, this fellow here was going to have the two-handed drill, and then I decided actually I might want a bit more range. So I did him with the kind of like the spitter type thing on it. But I like the models, mine. What I noticed was today, 4 of these from Mantic is $14.99, which I don't think is too bad actually. However, the starter faction box that I got has 4 of them in, and it was $24.99. But it also came with like 20 of the other miniatures as well, or 15 of the other ones. So I think it's really good value, especially considering I used the 20% discount code as well. So I got a £5 off. So it was only 20 quid for like 20, how many models is in the box? I'm just looking at the box there. Like 20, 25 models. Let me just have a quick look. Oh. So there, you get one of those guys in. You get 15 of these. You get one of those, and you get 4 of those in for 25 quid. So there's 21 models in total, which I don't think is bad deal. So yeah, 21 models for 20 quid. It's not bad, is it? Less than £1 a model. That's kind of like a benchmark. When it gets to £1 a model, you're starting to think that's not bad value. I can't think the last time I bought anything that was less than £1 a model. Right, what was I going to do? I was going to do metallics, wasn't I? Actually, what I need to do is there's some bits of skin that I've missed, so I think I'll go back and finish some of those. I've kind of missed off his heels and stuff like that, and his feet. Sorry. So I'll paint those in while I've still got stuff on the wet palette before I mix more paint. Mark says, damn, my finger just slid both Star Saga. Mark, did you get it particularly cheap, mate? I was looking at it. It's like 50 quid on the Mantic site. However, they've got an offer on this weekend where I think it's like 50 quid with Hayes Negan as well. But the problem is I already have Hayes Negan. I don't need it. So you're almost getting like a free Hayes Negan when you buy in Star Saga. But the problem is I've seen it for sale like loads of times for 25 quid, and I've basically thought it must be awful if it's always sells so cheap at these kind of conventions and stuff. But I now realise actually that it's bloody good value, and I should have picked it up when I had the chance. So now when I see it, I almost go, oh, I'm not paying that for it. I've seen it for 25 quid before. Luke, just while you mentioned there as well, you were working for Zatu Games. I think I've read it in Sporadically Board Group that you used to work for them. How did you find that, mate? Because I'm assuming that you're saying you don't work for them now. Was it like on a self-employed kind of basis or something like that, or did you work in their store for them, or in like their warehouse or something? I can't remember exactly what it was you were doing. I'm just nosy basically, mate. Thanks. Joe saying, hello, Mr. Burris. Hello, Joe. How are you doing? I hope you are well. Hopefully the Spanish lockdowns are getting to a point where you and Mr. Palms might actually get to see each other very soon. Devin Turner saying he thinks God Tate is playable for free on Tabletopia. It is, mate. I just saw that was the case. However, I haven't, since that game came out after Kickstarter, like when it came out at retail, they did a bit of like a launch day for it, which I was invited to, but unfortunately couldn't make it because it's in Manchester. It's quite a hike for me, and I've not seen another thing about it since, which is a real shame because, like I say, I've heard the game's pretty decent. To be fair, I would like to see it do well. Roaster Coaster, that was it, mate. It was nice, but it was 9%, and you could taste the alcohol a bit too much. Good, but not as good as I hoped. Well, I'm glad I've had your review, mate. I'll stick to my BrewDog then. Arnold saying 10:45. It's bedtime. Alarm clock starts making noise at 5:30. Sleep well, buddy. And thank you for joining the stream. We've got good numbers again tonight, folks. Like 67 people all out there. I mean, there's always people that basically will just tune in and just sit and watch and do their painting and have this almost as a podcast in the background. But it's really nice, kind of just that there's so many folks are kind of coming together. We're all, just hobbying together, catching the stream and stuff. And the streams are doing all right afterwards. Like I'm averaging maybe 450 views, which for something like this is fantastic. I'm over the moon with that kind of stuff. Craig saying there's enough parts in the Deadzone starter to make the terrain shown on the box. You need to be frugal with the clips. just glue it as well, mate. I did a lot of gluing with mine, I think. Peter saying, I know the box is good value. I have the same one. Yeah, it's really good, mate, isn't it? Arnold saying, catch the rest of the video in the rerun. Thank you, Arnold. As always, appreciate you coming in, my friend. Scott saying, is that the faction starter? It is, mate. It is the faction starter. Paul's got another 3 dipped. Nice one, mate. Marco says, I bought the Star Saga Kickstarter for 25 quid from the Mantic website. I remember seeing that, mate. I remember seeing it. Mark and John are saying it's 20 quid for a troll trader. I could be in for that, mate. It would get me some more Deadzone stuff, wouldn't it? That's what I'm thinking. Plus a game to play. Luke saying, exactly wanted to open a board game cafe. I was brought in as the manager and I set everything up for that. Good company and left them on good terms, but unfortunately it was a great opportunity that came. Yeah, when the chance comes, mate. Scott saying, that's the Veer-Myn starter ordered. Yep, Flip Movie Maker says, I backed the Liar Chronicles. I watched your video yesterday. Thank you very much, mate. Thanks for watching the video. I was sure to let them know that I discovered their game from your channel. Flip, that was very, very kind of you. It's one of those things, mate, where like I wasn't paid to make that video. Basically, somebody gave James Baldwin, who runs the Drowned Earth game, somebody gave him my details. He got in contact, said, would I be interested in doing something? And I said yes, basically. And it gives me the opportunity to do that stuff and be honest about it, really. There's a few things that I think will probably get tweaked before the game launches, but in general, for the stage it's at, for me it felt pretty polished. It felt like a really good game, and I really enjoyed playing it, to be fair. But sorry, what I was going to say was, by you saying that kind of stuff, telling people that you've backed something after you'd seen it, like sort of here, it just helps them want to work with me more in the future, which gives me more opportunities to bring new things to you lot. And as I mentioned, I've always mentioned, I don't get paid by these companies. I'll never ask for any money from them companies. I want to stay independent, and that's why I do everything like with Patreon and stuff, and that's why I'm all funded by you lot in the community, really. Zingbo says, what was the discount you mentioned? As part of the Deadzone kind of painting challenge thing I'm running at the moment, Mantic have given me a 20% discount code of any of the Deadzone starter sets, and the code is BlackJack DZ or DZ, D for Deadzone, DZ for Z. Well, sorry, D for Dead, Z for Zone. So yeah, BlackJack DZ, and that will get you 20% off the starter sets on the Mantic Games website. Luke says, I was at a point in my life I realized I needed to step back from my career, and also there were some issues with that job that I won't go into, but it was fun while I was there. I tell you what, mate, I feel like I'm listening to myself talking there, mate. I know exactly what you mean. Mark says, what did you think about the Drowned Earth campaign? The limited setting variability and very light story doesn't convince me into buying it. Also a pretty steep price for the mini pledge. Right, the limited setting variability, mate, the stuff that I showed is kind of one part of a scenario from the whole thing, mate. I think actually it's way more interesting than my video potentially would have showed, because there's a lot more to it than what I showed. And actually playing it as that kind of multiple path scenario through it, I think will be much more interesting. What was the other question? The very light story. There's actually a much deeper story to it. When I recorded it, I actually recorded me reading out the story build up to it, but actually it went on too long, and I felt it didn't really add anything to the gameplay. I thought most people would have just either fast forwarded over it or clicked it off before they even got to my video, like to the main gameplay. So I actually edited it out, but there's actually a much deeper story to it that maybe isn't being kind of shown exactly from the videos that I did. The miniatures, I would say, are quite expensive. However, it's a small company. The numbers that they make isn't huge. It's a much more boutique stuff, but the quality of the miniatures is fantastic. I would add that. I got obviously the resin prints of the first ones through, and they're really, really crisp details and stuff. The dinosaurs themselves, the Drowned Earth dinosaurs, are really nice. I mean, you probably can't see it like on my video and stuff, but like the dinosaurs actually have like a scaled kind of like textured skin to them. It's something like it would be dead easy to just make them like kind of like flat metal, but they actually have a really kind of like bumpy, scaly skin to them. So the quality is fantastic. it's higher price than Games Workshop, unfortunately, and that's always the benchmark. If you think but Games Workshop's expensive because of the overheads and everything else that they've got, if you're a boutique kind of small company making sort of sculpts like that, unfortunately the manufacturing runs are not big, so the price goes up a bit. However, you don't need a lot. I would be tempted if I was you, if you're interested. It sounds like you're not interested, but if you were on the fence, I'd be tempted to kind of just dip in with the standee pledge, either use your own stuff or potentially just kind of pick up stuff as you go, as you play through the series and stuff. Because there's nothing stopping you, because it's a board game type thing. You're not playing against anybody else. You could use any miniatures you wanted to for it, really. So yeah, I'd give it a second look, mate, because it's a bit deeper, I think, than potentially the intentionally relatively straightforward scenarios that I showed. Maybe a bit deeper than they show. Mark saying exactly why I bought it. Sci-fi Dungeon Saga, where I love and connects to Deadzone. Win-win. Tony saying he's finished the highlights on a bike and his airbrush on a red lacquer. Nice, mate. Scott's got a cheeky birthday gift to himself. Nice one. Zingbo says, cheers, that's faction starters, right? What about the base game box? The base game box is also 20% off, but they were out of stock last week, mate. If they have any in, it's also 20% off. Adam Egger says, good morning, my extended family. Nice one, mate. Ian saying, what do you think about other Mantic sci-fi games like Warpath and Firefight? Working on some Forge Fathers for a local Star Breach challenge. I'll be honest, mate, I've never played Firefight or Warpath. I was just saying earlier on in the stream, I didn't even realise until recently that Warpath is played on like movement basis, but I've been watching some YouTube videos to see what the game's like, basically, to see whether it's something I would want to expand into from this. Because there's some really nice models that Mantic do. Like I love the Veer-Myn big tunneler machine. That like they're called the Hornet, I think it is. I forget what faction it's for, but some of their vehicles and stuff are really, really nice. So yeah, I'd be tempted. I would say I'd be tempted to expand into that at some point. Peter saying the game's been on his radar for some time, but couldn't justify it until you forced me to purchase it. Matt said he played his first game of Hellboy last night. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, and to be honest, the Drowned Earth, this Elia Chronicles remind me a little bit of Hellboy with the kind of that case file type thing with the like where you don't know what's going to happen until you kind of flip the next card, and then something will happen that will tell you to flip that card. It reminded me of that kind of sort of mechanic type thing. And Adam says, oh yeah, I love the Plague Warpath vehicles too. Some really nice ones. Scott saying I might pick up some of the vehicles as scatter terrain. I did the same thing in Kill Team. I like painted like a rhino for my Space Marines just to have as like terrain on the board to make it look like they basically disembarked from a rhino and we're trying to like using it for cover, really. It's nice to have that kind of stuff on the board, isn't it? Right, what was I going to do now? I'll tell you what, let's keep working on the reds. We'll highlight up a little bit further because I'm just kind of chilling here. I'm just kind of enjoying. What time is it? 10 o'clock. I'll tell you what, time flies when you're having fun, folks. I've quite enjoying this. I think we were like up to like 72 people in the chat like a little while ago. It's nice to kind of have some people in there just chilling out and chatting away. Let me just clean this brush out. So, folks, is anybody going to be attending the virtual Mantic open day on Saturday? I'm not entirely sure how it's going to run or anything like that, but certainly Ronnie's Q&A sessions, where he kind of tells everybody else in Mantic what they're working on in the future, are always a nice little thing to see. I think there's a few other bits and pieces are happening as well. I think some of the Pathfinders and stuff have got stuff that they're running, I believe. Adam said he's going to try and have a crack. Yeah, I think if I can kind of find a bit of time, I think as I mentioned earlier in the stream, I think the weather reports for Saturday are absolutely garbage here. So I will probably be doing a little bit of work at the weekend. So I'll probably be sitting here, probably doing a bit of painting or something like that, a bit of building. I've got quite a lot of stuff to build for videos and stuff. Maybe doing a bit of filming. So yeah, I think I might just put that on in the background and kind of join the stream virtually. It's nice to watch other people streaming as well, instead of doing it myself all the time. Like I said, I've streamed 3 days in a row this week after being on the Drowned Earth thing last night. So, but I must admit, I'm starting to get comfortable with streaming. Like I'm starting to get used to it. And actually, I know how people now, kind of on Twitch and stuff, can just stream every day. I mean, I enjoy making proper videos, so there's no way I would just become a full-time kind of streaming channel, if you like. But I can see how it becomes addictive type thing. I can see how people enjoy it, especially like kind of like younger people who maybe, you know, at uni or whatever, or kind of haven't got a job yet, and you know, video games. I can see how they would enjoy it and get used to that kind of stuff. Not like an old fart like me. So yeah, we're just highlighting some of this stuff up now. So the next colour I'm using now is a Wild Rider Red, which has got a very orange tint to it, but it always highlights up. And I tend to use those 3 colours basically. I'll just put them on there. That tends to be my kind of my trio for my reds basically. So Mephiston red base, an Evil Sun Scarlet layer, and then a Wild Rider Red layer over the top. I'm deciding whether I want to layer up a little bit brighter with the orange as well, to a Troll Slayer orange on some kind of like high points. David Mackey saying I will pop into Mantic Virtual Open Day to see what things Ronnie lets slip during his talk. I think half of his staff tune in, mate, just to see exactly what's going on in the company. That's how they get their normal briefings as well, I think. Mike G's just finished with 3 more Orc Go Riders, 2 more to go, and the Slave Driver's Chariot. Nice, mate. Steve said, I'd like to attend, but not keen on Discord, to be honest. Is that what it's on, mate? Is it on Discord? Ah, okay. I didn't realise that, mate. I assumed they were doing it like through Facebook or something like that, or through their YouTube channel. I wonder why they're doing it on Discord. I've never really seen much of Discord video. My understanding is that it's a bit glitchy and it's not particularly very good. I think the thing with Discord is you can make it private, which is why I think a lot of people use it. Like the Pat McCon thing, I think, did it through Discord. The Paint All the Minis online convention thing. And I wonder if that's where Mantic have decided to do theirs the same way as well. But yeah, Discord surprises me if that's what they're using. Craig saying a few of us at the War Games Club are going to do a Skype call whilst we watch the open day. That's kind of cool. It's a nice way to hang out and stuff. Jean's saying I'll be checking to see if they have some of the event exclusives and look into the newly released Walking Dead Wave. I think they've announced tonight, mate. They've announced tonight that their open day sort of sale is already on their website, actually. Tony saying I'm interested in the open day out of curiosity. Yeah, the open days are normally pretty good, to be fair, mate. Josh is saying I'll be watching it. Hello, Josh Price, by the way. Says I'll be watching it while building some IKEA furniture. Nice, mate. Sounds like you got your hands full there, then. Adam's saying, oh, yeah, the orange will pop. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, mate, just because I don't think there's going to... Like, for all I've got my 21 models in this starter set, I think these 4 here, 4 of these, are about, like, 20... On average, about 20 points each. So... I don't think I'm going to have 21 models in the force. It's quite nice to kind of just have some brighter colour just to lift it a little bit. So I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll try someone, and if not, we can always cover it up over the top. Yeah, Mike G saying the open day sale's up. I got the email as well, mate. I was just looking at it earlier on. So yeah, we'll try a bit of this old Troll Slayer orange, and we'll see. And I'll show you my wet palette as well, and then you can see that the variation between the shades as well. Peter Kuman is saying Double Drill Nightmare is 23 points. Yeah, that's what I was trying to think, mate. I think they're roughly I think they're like 17 base cost, and then obviously some of the extra weapons and stuff boosted up a little bit. So I'll tell you what, folks, it's only recently on these painting streams, since I started using a wet palette every week, that I've started using my Lamy and medium really to thin my paints down. And I really feel like it's just, it's going on a lot smoother than it ever used to. I feel like my painting's almost taken a bit of a lift just by using Lamy and medium. Christian's just called in as well. Hello, Christian, mate. He says, hey, everyone. Hope everyone have a good evening. Just finished these Roll20 D&D. How did you get on, Christian? I hope you were hugely successful this evening. Hope you did well, mate. So here you can see on my wet palette here. So this is the Mephiston Red. This one here is the Evil Sun Scarlet. This is the Wild Rider Red. This is the Troll Slayer Orange. So you can see there's not, it's basically, as long as I thin them down enough, it's almost kind of doing the blending for me, really. And this is what I mean about how I've got certain kind of crutch, I should say. Talk about a slip of the tongue. I've got like certain crutch colours that I tend to paint with. My range of blue paints, I think, is like a perfect kind of tiering like that as well. And I think that's why I always enjoy using them and kind of why I use them a lot. And I think red is another one because of exactly the same reason. And potentially I do the same with green. If I add more green paints, I actually don't paint a lot of green stuff. So I tend not to have a lot of those paints. But yeah, I'm just kind of using this just to brighten it up a little bit now. Just on the high extremes and stuff. The only thing I haven't done is I haven't washed over it, so there's not. I do wonder whether I need to kind of go in and pin wash it a little bit. There's maybe not quite so much detail breaking out, but I might just try not washing it. I kind of rely on washes a bit too much as well. Where are we at? Steve saying he loves the actual open days. He enjoys the rummage in the bins. Yeah, they're miscast and stuff, mate. It's always a good one, isn't it? Scott said, you mentioned dipping with the army painter dip. Which colour is best to use, and do you dip or brush the dip on? I always brush it on, mate, because I just find that you can control it better. And the only one I've ever used is the strong tone, because it was the strong tone that came in the sets that I've got. So yeah, I've only ever used the strong tone, mate. And I'll show you in a video coming up soon. I've essentially painted the entire box set except one model, which I'm going to obviously paint step by step, so you can kind of see the steps I go through. And that's the only bit I've got left to film for it, basically, and show the end result of the entire army together. So once I've done that bit, I can get that one up. But I've got my plan all scheduled out. Marco will be proud of me. I'm all organised here. I've got all of May's videos lined up of what I want to do and when I need to do them by. So yeah, I'm organised. Not quite as organised as Marco mine. He seems to be the king of organisation. But yeah, I'm not doing too bad. Where are we up to? Christian C nearly died twice, but it was a great session. Nice one, mate. Craig has been running an RPG for the first time about 10 years. Me and some mates playing Warhammer Fantasy RPG via Skype. Nice, mate. Adam saying, I think we all rely on a few basic colours, don't we? Do you know, I think I've just got favourite styles, mate. So, like, I'll show you like what I've got here. So, other than the reds I've just kind of pulled out there, like you can see here, there's kind of like, there's definitely a blue kind of range. There's another orange here. I've got these kind of like Death Guard greens and stuff, and browns. Some more kind of like a corn red. I think this is like a purple. What's that, like Screamer pink, like almost a purpley colour. And then I've also got like these, so you can see the colour palette. I tend to paint in them same kind of colour palette. So I've got these kind of like blue, like light blue, turquoisey type ones. A few metallics. Again, some more kind of greens, like Death Guard green type stuff. Yellows, I've got like a nice range of yellows there as well. But I've got very little actual like green. So that's why I've got like a good range of reds and a good range of blues. I need to kind of expand my horizons a little bit, I think. Painting some different colours. Devon Turner says, GM for Tales from the Loop campaign later this evening. Just started getting into RPGs with the pandemic. It's been a nice way to connect and keep my brain active. Nice, mate. Tony saying, waiting for your stuff to dry. Sadly, my beer can is dry. Time for a top-up. Cheers, mate. Scott saying he's got the strong tone dip but never used it. Yeah, it's the only one I have used, mate, to be fair. So, that's the only one I can really comment on. Right, I think what I'm going to do now, I'm going to get some metallics on the drills and stuff, I think, to try and get a bit more colour in that. So, do I want to just go straight in with a metallic or give it a base? I think I'm going to come in with... Do you know what it is? I'm going to come in with a black contrast paint and see what it looks like, because sometimes it can look quite metallic, a good metallic effect, and then maybe it's just dry brush a bit of silver onto it rather than just painting the whole thing in there. Painting the whole thing. So that brush is a bit garbage. Let's use this one. So, excuse me, bit of gas off that beer there. Not that you lot needed to hear that. I think maybe those things that could do with being painted red, I think, on the handles as well. Yeah, the contrast paints, they can kind of, like the black isn't that black, to be fair, like when you paint it over like a white surface. So it can sometimes look quite metallic-y. So I think if I paint it over here, like obviously you can see underneath where I've got the shadow there, where the white zenithal prime hasn't hit it. I'm quite happy just to leave that as it is. I'll tell you what, let's go in and do the rest of the gun as well with the contrast paint, because I can always paint over it if I don't like the finished effect. So any of those kind of metallic type stuff in there, I think we'll do those. And I think I'm going to come in with the red and pick out the stuff on the drill handle. So you see these, I don't know if you can see on camera, there's like little, looks like there's bolted on bits of blades or something onto here. I think I'll pick them out in red and put some scratches and stuff on them, and see how they look. Mark was clapping away there. Yeah, you're definitely the king of being organised, mate, but I like to just have things visible to me, like just to remind me what's my plan. I like a to-do list. I like to be organised. It just kind of focuses the mind a little bit. Reminds me what it is I'm doing this week, and what I'm doing, or what I need to do for the future as well. Like so if I find I've got a bit of time on my hands, I can get ahead of myself. But yeah, I think the difference is now, because this is my job and this is what I'm doing full time now. I need to be organised. Like like nobody else is doing the work for me, so I need to kind of stay on top of that kind of stuff. So I'm finding it's useful to have like to-do lists and be quite organised. Christiansen, definitely a fan of the turquoise, orange and purple combo. Yeah, I tell you what, mate, remind me on. I'll show you the first Infinity models I ever painted. I painted that exact combination, and it looked awesome. Like orange, turquoise, or maybe I didn't do purple, but orange and turquoise together. Like, let me just grab a couple of paints here. Like those two together just look really sci-fi. It's almost that kind of portal colour. There's just something about it when you see those two together. Like, that's not fantasy, but it's very sci-fi, very kind of like clean sci-fi, and I love that. And actually, I think what I'm tempted now that you've kind of got me thinking, I'm tempted to pick out. I might pick out that kind of like pipe work and stuff on the back in that blue, just to really kind of give it a bit of kick. But I'm kind of happy with how that's coming together. I mean, I say every week, you know, I'm average at best kind of painter. In fact, do I even want to pick out those panels on the shoulders and stuff in that blue rather than silver? It might, or do I want to keep them silver and do blue lenses? We'll decide as we go, folks. We'll decide as we go. But yeah, we'll decide as we go. Right, I've just seen a little bit more skin that I missed before there. So let's get in and do that little bit there. There's a little bit in the leg piece there that I've just missed. And a little bit on that one as well. I couldn't decide whether they were trousers or not, or we'll assume, because they're not coming out the back there, are they trousers? That's some kind of like banding on the legs. So we'll assume that he's got shorts on, not trousers. And we'll do that as skin colour. Yeah, not doing too bad on that one, I think. Peter Cooman saying there, when that's dried on the drills, just a dry brush of metal could look great. That's exactly what I'm thinking, mate. I might do a bit of a heavier dry brush of like something like a lead belcher, and then a really light dry brush of, is it called not Stormhost Silver, Necron Compound. It's a really nice kind of Luke saying there, blue lenses for sure, they'll really pop. Yeah, I'm thinking kind of minimizing the blue, mate. I think what I'll do is, there's some kind of pipe work you may be able to see just kind of under here, which looks like kind of like pressure regulators and stuff for the drills. There's some like pipe work on here, which I think I'll do blue. Some pipe work on the back that I think I'll do blue as well. And then I think I'll do them lenses as well in the kind of the helmet thing. And I think I'll paint these. In fact, I tell you what, do I go black? Do I do the black contrast paint on there as well and pick them out with silver? I think I'll do the same thing there as well. So yeah, this is what I mean about Marco saying hazard stripes on the pipes. This is me painting, mate, not you. I can't do hazard stripes on the pipes. Yeah, I'm kind of winging this as I go. Really, I haven't got any real kind of sense of. I was hoping basically that as I go, I basically kind of get those flashes of inspiration. And thanks to Christian kind of reminding me there of those colours. I think that's maybe the flash of inspiration that I needed. And I think that blue will really kind of pop it out. And then essentially what this is, as I mentioned before, this is just really like my test model. You're seeing me kind of testing stuff out on the fly, really. This is this will take me a lot longer than it'll take me to paint the other ones, because then I'll know exactly what I'm trying to achieve with the other ones. But this is just, I'm just finding this really relaxing tonight, folks. Actually, it's nice just to paint and chat along. I'm getting used to doing these painting streams now, because when I first obviously was live streaming, I was always just live streaming the camera. So I was getting used to concentrating on the chat and concentrating on the camera and all that kind of stuff. And I didn't think I'd be able to kind of paint and run a live stream and keep it entertaining. I'm still not even sure I'm keeping it entertaining or not, but I assumed I wouldn't get to that point where I'd be able to do all of that at once. But it feels like it feels like I'm starting to get used to it now. It feels like I'm starting to get used to it. Where Tony? Where's Scott saying that Mark saying he's been dragged off the bed. Good evening, mate. Stay safe. Scott saying the Black Templar base for metallics is a brilliant method. Yeah, definitely, mate. Peter Cooman says, when that's dried in the drills, we'll just talk about that one. Scott says, what colours are they, Andy? Are we talking about the reds, mate? The reds was Mephiston Red, was the base one. Then it was Evil Sun Scarlet. Then it was Wild Rider Red with a very light highlight of Troll Slayer Orange on the top of that one. The contrast paint on the drills there was the contrast Black Templar. The blue I was talking about there was Temple Guard Blue. I think was the one I was thinking of there. That's a Temple Guard Blue, and I think Lucian blue lenses that'll really pop. Palmsy's saying keep the blue to a minimum. Yeah, I think so, mate. Pipes and lenses blue. Yeah, I agree. Tony says, dare use something different. Try Thousand Suns blue on the pipe, and it's more of a teal colour. Let me have a look, 'cause I think I might actually have that one. Sortek green. Got Barahoth blue. Is that what that one is there? I've got is that, what's that one there? Yeah, I've got Thunderhawk blue. I've got loads of blues and greys. What's that one? Techless blue. What's that one? Calgar blue. I think this is it here, is it? Yes, Thousand Suns blue. So, that's the Thousand Suns blue there. And this one is the one I was probably well, that one's a different one again. That's an almond blue. This is the other one. I could probably start with this one and maybe highlight it up to that, something like that. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, I've definitely got my blues that I like painting. Right, what do I want to do with? I should really. Do I want to go with the skeleton brown? I'll tell you what, I still keep finding bits of skin. There's some in between the straps here on the arm. And I thought that was part of the gun, but it's not. That's his arm as well. And I think that is his. Is that his thumb coming around there? Yeah. This is the thing. You find all these bits that you've kind of skipped over or missed. The inside of his hand there as well. A little bit comes down into there. See, normally I would have washed over the top of this, and I wouldn't give a toss about it. It would have all just been covered in brown anyway. So, where tonight I'm painting because I'm just enjoying it. So, and if I'm taking more time over it purely just because I'm enjoying the process. Really, the only thing is, if I was painting an army, like a massive army of these things, I think I'd be cursing myself for taking so long over this one. Oh, the orange and blue that I showed, mate. I think it was it that one? It was a Temple Guard blue, mate. I think Temple Guard blue and Troll Slayer orange. Those were the two, mate. Temple Guard blue and Troll Slayer orange. So I think them are potentially the two that I might with the pipes and stuff like that. Where are we at? Palmsy saying, who's interested in the idea of a virtual ReaperCon with a real swag bag? I don't actually know what ReaperCon is, mate. I've never really been that kind of Reaper miniature stuff. Mark was saying he spent 10 minutes on painting non-metal knives on the lab technicians. Not bad. Trying not to use any metallics on the whole set. Nice one, mate. Peter says, I'm packing up, need to be up again in 6 hours. Have a nice night and great painting. We'll check the rest tomorrow. Thanks, Peter. As always, mate, I appreciate you coming in. Yeah, nice one, mate. Nice one. How are we doing for time? Yeah, we'll just keep cracking on. Might use them on your Yujing. Yeah, they will look nice on Yujing, mate, actually. Right, how do I decide where to go from here then? I've got a bit more skin that I've missed again as well. So I'll keep finding these little bits between strapping and stuff like that. I think that's where we'll go. I'll paint in these bits of skin, and then I think we'll get the leather strapping, and we'll do brown leather strapping, I think. Or do I do it lighter? Do I go with a more cream? I think I'll also probably go over with another coating of the Basilicum Greer on the trousers. I think it's a bit lighter than I want it to be. I think. I think I'm actually gonna go back, and I'm gonna paint that the same red color as well, actually, and really kind of highlight that one up. Because I wasn't sure what to do with that one, but I don't think I want it to be different. I don't think I want that to necessarily be the focal point. So, it's a bit watery there. So we'll paint. We'll go back and we'll highlight this up like the way I've done the rest of the orange and red. We'll let that dry out and highlight that one up. 6 in the head. Bloody hell, your Temple Guard blue looks more like my Nihilite Oxide. I think it must be this camera, mate. I think I need to have a look at the white balance on it, I think. But this is my Nihilite Oxide. So there, that'll give you that. And there's the Temple Guard blue. So that gives you. To be fair, on my screen, they look pretty similar. But then I guess it depends on the calibration of everybody else's TVs and everything else. But when I'm looking on my screen and what I can see on the camera, they look pretty close to what I can see here. So maybe it's just perception of stuff. Steve saying, you're not going to do a Ratkin army for Kings of War then? Not to this standard, I'm not, mate, anyway. 16 Heads, I don't know what Reaper Minis are either, mate. I just like the swag bags and the live stream conventions. We could do a live stream BlackJack convention, couldn't we? We could do something like that. I tell you what, if this lockdown goes on much longer, we could maybe try and see if we could do something like that if folks are up for it. See if we can get some companies involved, a little bit like what the Paint All the Minis type thing did. See if companies are up for doing something like that, and we can try and get some bonuses for Patreons and stuff like that. See if we can get like a little swag bag or something sent out to people. Says, geez, looks totally exactly how it looks. Barry saying, look completely different on my screen. BlackJack Con, Mini Fest. I don't know if I'd call it BlackJack Con. That's the word. This is why I always kind of think that I should have changed the name of the channel, really. Calling it BlackJack Con suggests... do you know what? I'm wondering... Did I miss another donation somewhere? Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. It looks like the numbers are different on my screen over there. Anyway. Yeah, I think calling it BlackJack Con might make people think it's... I think I might have to call it like Legacy Con or something like that. We'll see. We'll see how to do it. I don't know. I'll have a think about it. Because at some point I would like to do something like that. And I kind of thought about maybe next year or something like that. Maybe once I've got a bit more time under my belt and maybe my numbers are a bit higher and stuff like that. Maybe the Patreon group's grown a bit more. We might be able to do something, but who knows at the minute. If the lockdown continues, maybe it'd be nice to have something to look forward to. I'll have to look into see how much organising it would take me. Because remember, I do this on my own, so we'd have to see how it would. BJ Fest might not be the right one. I'll tell you what, we'll certainly get people joining up for it, but I'm not sure if they'll get what they think they're paying for. That's for sure. Yeah, BJFS might get me sued for Trade Descriptions Act. Right, I think we're going to give him. Should we give him a? Do I give him a black? I think I'll give him a black belt. We'll keep it. Yeah, Barry's saying that BL Fest might be better. Yeah, we might have to give that one some more thought. I'll tell you what, mind, it goes through my head quite often about changing the name of the channel. I'll be perfectly honest. If it wasn't for the fact that folks had like paid for T-shirts and things like that, I think I'd be tempted to. Change it at some point. But I like the name. It's just not. It's not technically good from like a marketing point of view, is it? And what I say by marketing, I mean like being able to kind of like get the word out about the channel. I do wonder how much it's kind of hindered me over time. Whether I remember somebody telling me that when they used to see me commenting on the videos, they used to think I was like a spam channel type thing. Right, I think that's the black belt in there done. We'll just get around the corner here a little bit. Right, I tell you what, I think I'm gonna go in and do that pipe work just to kind of really pop the colours a little bit. Horrid person, brand identity, that's kind of what I was trying to get at, Gene. I guess in a weird way, I've kind of got some brand identity now because people kind of know it's me, really, if you like, but it's maybe it's too late. Adam said, if you want to change it. It just makes our BlackJack shirts collector's items. And Barry saying personally likes it. I like it too, mate. That's the thing. I mean, when I thought about it when I first started, it's like, well, you know, you've got a company like Apple doesn't sell apples. You've got like companies, you got like YouTube channels, like people like PewDiePie doesn't exactly say doesn't exactly say what they do. And I liked the idea when I first started of having a name that didn't tie me down to a particular subject. Like if I'd called the channel like something tabletop gaming, then that's exactly what the channel would have had to been about forever and always. But when I started, I didn't know that's what it was going to be about. So I intentionally kept it really open-ended. And the problem is, the longer it went on, the longer I liked the name. Christian says, if you need to change the channel name for the good of the channel, and do so, people will understand. And as a heavy investor of your tees, I'd be fine with it. I think, Christian, you bought more t-shirts than anybody I know, mate. Which reminds me as well, I still need to get your Patreon one out of you as well. Please do not let me forget that. Please remind me about that. And so, no, I think I'll probably give it another year, I think, at least, doing this full time. Because to be fair, I mean, there's a lot of YouTube channels out there who basically have done what I've done, just doing random content and covering many different topics and things, and haven't grown as much as I've grown. So I might be kind of over-egging it, really. I might be worrying about something and nothing. But it just makes me wonder if I'd had a tabletop related name, would it have made any difference? It wouldn't have made me any happier though. I'm happy doing what I'm doing. Maybe it's kept the riffraff away. Maybe I've just attracted the good viewers. Maybe that's why it's a good thing. So you can see that that blue against the orange just look quite nice. And there's a bit of pipe work coming down inside of here. Please don't balls it up, Burtis. It was all going so well. I'll try and get in there and come through and get a little bit of that blue onto the pipe work. I'm kind of like just trying to dip in under his arm there and just layer that on a little bit. And then we'll dot in where the lenses are as well. And we'll go in there. I think just by putting these spot colours in now, it just gives me a sense of kind of how it's going to look. It might give me a sense of where I think it's lacking in certain areas or not. And this is a slightly different blue to the one I showed you. This is slightly darker because I'm going to highlight up from here. So that's kind of, you can kind of see the blue in them lenses there. You can see the blue on the pipe work just starting to kind of lift that colour a little bit. I'm happy with that. Mark saying BJ Fest would certainly boost the subs. I think they'd plummet just as fast afterwards. Pomsy saying, what about BlackJack hobby? I had considered just kind of keeping it. I'd either considered keeping the BlackJack or keeping the legacy bit and just kind of like tweaking it a little bit. But who knows? Mark says, change it to Warhammer Tube. I'm sure you'll be fine. William saying that he agrees with Christian. Also makes having the before shirts proof of grognardness, or grognardness, I should say. Steve said, I agree on the name front. If you want to change it, I've got 4 of your t-shirts. And David Delaney says, no, your sense of community has kept the good ones around. Love you all. Thanks, David. Yeah, grognardness is a great word. And Pomsy saying, BlackJack is the brand. Legacy is what it might need changing. It's the BlackJack bit that confuses people. Like if I'd called it Legacy Games or Legacy Tabletop Gaming, it tells you what it's about. If I'd called it BlackJack Tabletop Gaming, people still think it's BlackJack. That's the problem. But imagine the awesome shirt you could sell. BJ Fest, close your eyes. I'm getting scared about where this is going now, folks. I'll tell you what, we lighten it a bit more maybe with a bar of blue. Yes. So how's everybody doing? You all right to kind of keep streaming for a bit longer? Nobody's sick of the... I suppose if you were sick to death of me, you'd have tuned out by now, wouldn't you? So let's not worry about that. So yeah. Marcus says, I can imagine the videos. 5 reasons to attend BGA Fest. It would only need the first one, wouldn't it? It would be the shortest video ever. 1 reason to attend BGA Fest. Imagine what's in the swag bag. Oh, it's gone down a dark path, folks. Scott says BlackJack Areno Legacy Tabletop. I'll tell you what, BlackJack Areno, that might be a good halfway point. Right, that's too wet. Margot saying, I can imagine. Yeah, we said that one. Peter saying, hold on, you saying this isn't about blackjack gambling. I can give you some tips, mate, if you need any. I'm sure I can. We can give you some tips. All right. Just keep lightening that one up, just layering that on a little bit. Tony says, BGA Fest, a 10-second convention. I'll tell you what, folks, it's a good job we're amongst friends here. Others wouldn't understand, would they? Others wouldn't get it. I can rely upon you lot. If there's something to be found in the conversation, you lot will find it, that's for sure. Say anything over about 6 or 7, otherwise twist. Tim says BGA Fest Winter 2020, are you coming? Be like Charlie FM coming in your ears. It's a virtual con streaming in your ears, streaming in your eyes. Right, folks, what am I going to do with those bits then? That's completely lost my trail of thought now, wasn't it? What do I want? Right, I'll tell you what, well, let's get some. Do I want to? Wait, let's. What you're thinking here, folks, for these straps around the ankles? Do you think we should just go like brown leather, or do you think we should kind of lighten them up a little bit? I'm torn between kind of going like a cream colour, or between I don't know whether they should be like dirty and stuff. Mark was saying, I noticed plenty of ads in the 2 Kickstarter videos you released. Was it on purpose or did YouTube take over? I think YouTube did it, mate. I didn't purposely put any. I think as soon as you get over 10 minutes, you can put more videos in yourself. But I think YouTube did it. I'll have to go back and check, mate, and take some out if there's too many. To be fair, I never went back and watched them once they were live. Mark says, it looks like we found the community's level ground. I think I now know why we've all come together. Yes. Christian saying, why not leave them white and apply Agrax or a strong tone? I think the problem is that they're kind of like, let me think. My worry is if I put like a wash over the top of them, it's going to kind of run into the skin and stuff a little bit. I tell you what, let's try a wash on them. What's the worst that happens? I'll paint over the top. There's an Agrax. Let's try that. Cream with a bit of dirt in these toes. Let's try the Agrax first, and if that doesn't work out, we can always paint over when it's dried. And so anybody just starting to get into painting miniatures and stuff like that, like, yeah, like you can see, like I am completely winging this. But it's just trial and error. Because like I said on Monday's stream, like what's the worst that happens? Is it ends up being the biggest mistake you've ever made, and you just paint over the top of it, kind of thing, or you strip it or whatever. Yeah, no, I don't think it's getting enough. I don't think it's getting enough kind of sort of colour from that. Let's go with what have I got that looks like it might be a good match? What have we got down here? What's this? Let's go with a Carrick Stone, I think. BlackJack chewy brown. Yes. Oh yes. Right, we'll get a bit of this in, I think. Thin this down. Steve says he's been painting for 40 years and still winging it. Yeah, I think people, especially new painters and stuff, new people to the hobby, just think that they're supposed to get it right from day one. And I think what they maybe don't realise is that even people that have been painting for a few years who might look like they know what they're doing, and believe me, they don't as well, will still kind of wing it. We'll still just trial and error. It's just that with practice and with experience, you get a better idea of what won't work. So you tend to stick to the known things. This definitely needs a wash over the top of it. I'm not completely happy with how this looks at the minute, but that doesn't mean it's wrong yet. I think that's where the Agrex will come over the top of this and darken it down. I think the problem was there wasn't enough colour in that to kind of like to almost to tinge with the wash. So we'll see how this one looks when it's done. Again, we can always paint over top of it. Luke says, BJ Con, shaking those paint pots is helping nothing. What can I say, mate? Tony says, with you going out on a limb with painting, I'm so far out of my comfort zone, it's unbelievable. But if it works, cool. If it doesn't, it's still cool. I've painted and I've learned. That's it, mate. Yeah, it's just sometimes it's nice just to take a few risks, if you like. I mean, it's not exactly like life-changing type stuff. But like it's nice just to kind of see what happens. You might get some happy accidents, as Bob Ross would say. But there's no such thing as getting it wrong. It's just learning, isn't it? It can always be better, or it can always be different. But if I use this as a base to kind of wash down from, and then I can always highlight back up from this, I think we'll get the effect I'm trying to go for. What I'm trying to get basically is that I want these to be a bit more kind of clean, sci-fi, futuristic. I don't want these to technically be the kind of like the dirty, grubby rats that you would expect. I mean, they do have great big drills on their hands and stuff. You know, there's some kind of like technical, like intelligence about them. They're not just running around with sticks. So it makes sense that they wouldn't just be the filth, like the kind of the dirtiest things on the earth kind of thing. Yeah, Peter says he's got 5 green marines, 4 green characters, and a sunburn from my daylight reading lamp. Time to sit back and just watch. It's nice just to have a chill sometimes, mate. Just sit back and relax and feel part of it that way. I think what we'll do is we'll do the same strapping down here as well. We'll try and keep it consistent throughout. I tell you what, the sharp bits on them drills are sharp. They're digging in my fingers. I'm kind of using it as like a pivot point to paint from. Adam says he had rats and they're extremely intelligent, like tiny frogs. Oh, as pets. I just suddenly thought you had some kind of plague issue there, mate. It didn't occur to me at first reading that you meant you had pet rats, or you'd had pet rats, I should say. I was just thinking that you had some kind of problem, but that you'd worked out that they were quite bright. I'll tell you what, I can hear my wife rabbiting away. I have no idea who she's talking to. Maybe she started her own YouTube channel and she live streams when I'm in here. I tell you what, let's not even go any further with the conversation. Maybe that's just a little bit too much information. Who knows what she's doing? Mark was saying, why do you think Games Workshop is skipping 2 months of White Dwarf? Is it proof that they held back releases? I think it is, mate. I think it is essentially that the stuff that they had planned should have been out. And I think they're always slightly behind what the releases are. So, yeah, it would not surprise me, mate, in the slightest. And I think that's part of the reason why they're starting up again now. They're trying to get ahead of the lockdown being released. And I think they want to get ready for a big new release, I think. Dogs, not frogs. Tiny dogs. Did I say frog? I'm sure I read frogs before. David Denny says, any tips on how to keep your brush tip sharp? Brush soap, mate. Make sure that you always use brush soap after you've been painting. Clean your brushes properly. It kind of conditions the hairs of your brush and keeps them to a point. And what I also do is I don't use the brush I'm painting with to get paint out of the pot. I use a different brush to take the paint out of the pot, put it on my wet palette, and only use the brush I'm painting with to paint with, so you don't get too much paint up the ferrule. Because what happens is, as the paint starts to kind of go up into the metal ferrule, it starts to splay out the hairs. So yeah, brush soap for keeping them clean, and just don't like kind of douse the whole brush in paint. But this is a size 2 brush. I've used the same brush for the entire model. Doesn't matter what I've been doing, I've used exactly the same brush. And that's what I was kind of mentioning before about sometimes it's not about the size of the brush you're using, it's how fine the point is, how much of a good point you've got on the brush. This is just these size 2 brushes are just my kind of go-to now. I use them for pretty much every job. And I'm just really happy with how they come back to a point, and I'm looking after them. I mean, I've been using them for over a year now, and it's as good now as it was the day I got it. So there's a lot to be said about investing in like brush care as well as in decent brushes. Where are we at? Yes. Pomsy saying lick them as well. Yeah, pet rats are intelligent, quite affectionate. Barry saying the wife started a YouTube channel while you're in there. Yeah. I bet Andy's wife started a rival hobby channel. Starty's man cases Wives of Gamers YouTube live. Yeah. Everybody's partnered in there, aren't they? Six and Heads, I love your tip about metallic paint in the latest zine. Never occurred to me. Yeah, that was a good tip. Busy saying fairy liquid or toothpaste on the brush seems to work well. Toothpaste, there we go. It's not about the size of the brush. BGFS t-shirt limited edition sword. The smaller the brush, the quicker the paint dries on it. Yeah, that's it, David. It's by having kind of like a bigger belly to the actual brush tip, to the brush itself, it just holds more paint. So you're not constantly and it doesn't like dry out so fast, and you're not constantly keep going back to kind of top it up, if you like. So, well, this has been a pleasant evening, folks. It's been one of those kind of painting streams where I'm just kind of relaxed. I'm just kind of chilling away, just painting, and you lot are all hanging out. It's awesome. Still 50 of you here as well. Toothpaste was a tip from Midwinter Minis. I can't even imagine why you would put toothpaste on a paintbrush. I've heard about putting like hair conditioner because it's natural hair. With toothpaste, I would never have thought about. It's not the size of the rat in the fight; it's the size of the fight in the rat. Exactly, mate. Barry says wife called it Jack Black Legacy, and he's got more hits. Pat says my head is completely wrecked with trying to paint eyes. I tell you what, mate. Any suggestions for brushes, types for detail? Painting eyes, here's a big tip. Don't use a brush. Get a toothpick. I've just kind of, somebody mentioned it in a live stream a while ago, and I tried it on Saturday when I did them Drowned Out Earth minis. Oh my God, my life has changed. So I got a toothpick and just dipped it into the white, dipped it into the eye, And then, in fact, let me just kind of show you, like, make me sure my microphone's long enough here. Let me just go over to my desk here and grab a toothpick. So, pull this chair in a bit. I'll do it with a bit of white, and I'll do it on camera so you can see what I'm talking about. So obviously this is not really eyes I'm doing, it's kind of like lenses, but you know, if you're going to put like a spot on a lens or something like that to make it look like a kind of like a gem, I'll just put a little bit of white paint there. So, toothpick, paint, don't like douse the whole thing in it, literally just put a dot on the end of it, like that. And then, that side might be better because you can actually see better. Literally just line it up and just dot it on there. And then what I was doing was, I was then because these are like, they're a bit flatter so that they don't obviously like spike in your tooth. I was taking a hobby knife. Let's do it. In fact, I'll show you the whole process. I was taking a hobby knife and sharpening it up to a finer point. And then dipping it into the, have I got anything I can kind of show you on? What can I do it on? What can I do it? I haven't got anything to hand really. I'll tell you what, if I just do it on this lid, so if I take the white and do the dot for the eye, and then take the black, take the sharpened point, the bit for the black. Oh, of course, the white's not properly dry yet, so that would help. And just dot. You just get so much more control over it than you do over a brush. So you can kind of, let me stand on my microphone there. Oh, that's still working, is it? Let me just check, make sure my microphone's, I haven't just pulled it out. Yeah. So you can see there what I've just done with that dot there. That white dot with the black dot inside it. That's how I now do eyes. And it looks perfect. So yes, there you go. Loads of people are saying get a 0.2mm black permanent marker for eyes. Yeah, I just find the toothpick, like the brush, it's sometimes hard to like judge depth perception and like if it's really getting really in close. Mark was saying he used 2 paper clips, one with a standard flat end and another with an end cut at a corner. Yeah, exactly the same method, mate. Basically, just using a toothpick with a really sharpened end and just like a normal end gives you slightly 2 different sizes. Kieran saying, what about crossing the T's? Hello, Kieran, by the way, mate. Hello. Mark saying, clean your brush with toothpaste before you start with me and PGFS t-shirt slogan. That's class. Should have asked an hour ago. There you go, Pat. Honestly, somebody mentioned it the other day, and I was painting those Drowned Earth minis on Saturday, and it was like, it's the first time I've painted anything like sort of where I care about putting eyes in it at the minute. Palmsy saying toothpicks cheating, I do eyes with a size 10. I tell you what I'm going to do, I'm going to make that into a little 60-second hobby tip video, but you saw it first here. So when I do the video, please at least go and watch it. Mark saying, today's climate, if the worst thing that happens today is that your painted toy soldier hasn't turned out right, it's been a good day, mate. Yes, I agree completely. So, George is saying, I'm sorry I'm late. Nice trick with the toothpick. There you go. Everybody's just tuned in for toothpick tips. There you go. I will make a little tip video for that one. If I have just saved anybody a lifetime of pain with that little tip, and you're not already a Patreon, you can join the Patreon from as little as $2 a month, where I promise to come up with more tips and tricks like that. Oh, I tell you, I'm resting my finger on there to keep it steady, and it's actually really sharp. I'm going to I think I'm going to paint these in and then kind of like chip them a little bit, I think. But yeah, using toothpicks so imprecise. Diss that with enamels before I learned better. David says, started painting myself now, I think I should call it a day. Nice with of blue across my palm. Yeah. And Busey says, just buy those stick-on eyes that rattle around. They would look awesome, mate. Definitely buy those things. Big goggly-eyed miniatures. Scott saying, update pics on the Deadzone challenge page. Nice one, mate. That's what I like to see. For all I've put in that event thing where you to kind of put your like before and after pictures, feel free to put any work in progress pictures in there. Feel free to put your work in progress pictures in the normal Facebook group as well. Maybe try and encourage a few other people to join the challenge. Anything like that is always nice to see, kind of community involvement. So yes. So, folks, here's a bit of honest question. All 52 of you in the chat now. Then, so I've been doing this slightly more kind of seriously now. I appreciate I'm not in full kind of full time because of like childcare and stuff at the minute. But are you noticing a difference? Are you liking the content? Do you feel like it's kind of it's not what you were expecting? You were expecting something different? I'm just kind of putting it out there. Really, as a bit of honest feedback. I feel like I'm among friends at the minute. I can ask you an honest question. So, is there anything that you were expecting me to do that I haven't done yet? Just bearing in mind that obviously, like I say, I've got a lot of childcare responsibilities at the minute that I wasn't banking on. But it's just good to get a feel for it. Really, at the end of the day, this channel will be and will always be kind of community funded. I'm not doing this to appease gaming companies. I'm doing this to make content for a friendly, welcoming and inclusive community. So it's good to get a bit of feedback now and again. Kevin saying, don't think I've seen red on the Veer-Myn before. I like the look of that. Yeah, I just thought I'd do something a bit different, mate. Marco says the more people join the challenge, the lower probability of winning. Gene said it works well with big lenses like your Veer-Myn, but blocky to cover true scale eyes. Gene, I used the exact same thing, mate. For in fact, let me show you. Let me show you how I used it, because I've got a longer wire on my microphone tonight. I used the exact same method on this miniature here. You'll be able to see there's white dots in those eyes there, but she is tiny. She's tiny. I mean, in comparison to this, that's the size of the head, and I used exactly the same method on that. But if I can get in nice and close, I don't know if it'll focus that close. You'll be able to see I've put the white dots in the eyes there, and I also did it on this sort of crocodile guy as well. And you'll be able to see just there's a black dot just there in the yellow eye as well. So yeah, it as long as you sharpen it to a really fine point, it works just as well, mate. So I'm sure if people are using 0.2 mm pens, a sharp point on a toothpick will be even sharper. Let's have a look. Steve saying when he does eyes, does them in reverse, paint the whole eye black and then put the white in each corner. Yeah, that is another way to do it as well, mate, actually. Kelly Caudle, you're exactly who you were before. That's the key. Thank you very much, Kelly, and nice to see you in the chat tonight as well. Scott says, love the content, mate, and I'm a full-time regular watcher. Thank you. Tim says it's awful. No advice on when to stick or twist. It's cracking bud, keep it up. Thank you. Margot says, I expect a video on coronavirus and the temporary shutdown of GW might have been a boost for other game systems. To be honest, mate, I kind of wanted to steer away from a lot of the coronavirus stuff because I want to be respectful of it, but I didn't want it to make it feel like I was kind of like trying to cash in on content for, you know, there's people suffering out there. Like there's people lost their jobs, there's people lost their lives, and I didn't want to make light of it really. So I kind of steered away from it really. That was all. I'm not suggesting that I won't in the future, but yeah, that's kind of why I stayed away from it, to be honest. William Jones, love the content, enjoy the mix and relaxed approach. Thank you, William. Simon saying, very late at night stream and relatively new to the channel, but content is good. Thank you, Simon. It's always, it doesn't matter whether you've been here since day one. I'm awful. I've still got that much of my can left. It doesn't matter whether you're here from day one, mate, or you've just come this week. It's always good to see people, and everybody's welcome. David said, I found the channel to be well informative, and you helped squash an argument or two between me and my roommates' kill team sessions. Cheers, mate. I'm glad about that. Christian says, yeah, where's the Burrows and Badgers content? I need to get around to that, to be fair. Seriously, love what you're doing. Once lockdown ends, things will get in the way. To be honest, I intend to do... I've always been a bit hesitant about doing battle reports and stuff. I've been quite open about that one. However, doing the Drowned Earth stuff at the weekend, I felt really rusty getting started. And I was kind of like, I was second guessing myself, and I was thinking, how am I going to do this? And what about this? And I was actually quite nervous about starting doing it. But actually, once I got into it, I actually started to enjoy it. And I think by the time I'd finished it, I'd come up with a lot of ways that I could have improved it and I could have done better. So I'm looking forward to doing more battle report type content. One, when I can get other people to play against as well, once lockdown gets, the restrictions get lifted a little bit as well. Because actually there's quite a lot when you're on your own and you're not used to doing it. There's quite a lot to remember to make sure that your microphone's set up right, make sure that everything's in shot, make sure the focus is right. Like it's quite a lot to kind of remember. But I think it's that kind of stuff that'll just get easier over time. But I think I also proved kind of thing is those kind of videos don't get as many views. You can spend a lot of time doing the battle report stuff, but I don't think you necessarily get the views back to justify the time it takes to record them. But that doesn't mean I didn't enjoy doing it and I won't do more. So yeah, I'm getting sidetracked now, doing 10 different things. Where are we going? I think I just jumped over the top of my screen there. I just need to stab myself with my scalpel as well while I was doing it. Barry says, you set such a great tone with this channel. Your community is the best. Well, you're part of it, mate. So big up yourself there. Steve says, going well so far, mate. Just don't try and do too much. Yeah, I don't think I'm trying to do too much. I think what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to do probably too much. I'm trying to do more than I've probably got time to do at the minute. I think that's the thing. I also want to just kind of keep a check as well, and I hope you lot kind of keep me in check on this. I don't want to drift away from like the Facebook community side of things as well. I don't want to drift away from the Discord chat and stuff. I've realised today I kind of neglected the Discord chat a little bit the last few days. We've been busy, but that's part of this as well, and it's me getting the chat to kind of friends as well. So I just got to find a bit of a balance. But please never feel kind of like out of place by saying, hey, not seeing you in the Facebook group for a week, what's going on kind of thing. I'm cool with that stuff. Luke says, I love the channel, only really sorry, that was Steve. Only just discovered it before you announced the full time, but you come across as a stand-up guy and I relate to, which is what I've always gravitated to. Thank you, mate, much appreciated. Pomsy said, loving the extra content. All I'd say is, I know you're quite the handyman and I'd love to see more of those skills. To be honest, mate, because of lockdown, I've managed to get like the garage, all of the crap that's been lying around in the garage for a long time is all cleared out. So I've got like one half of the garage now as you first go in. So what used to be the studio, I bought like racking and stuff like that. And all of the stuff that was lying around in the garage, I've basically, because I'm fortunate I've got a double garage kind of thing. So the half I used to use for the studio is now full of like racking and stuff, and I've put all of the stuff into storage now that was in the other half. So now I've got a big open area that I've got space to kind of build stuff. I can put lights in there and film. But I'm going to be building a Deadzone table soon. So I had a chat with the guys at Mantic and they sent me some terrain crate bits and pieces to put towards building a Deadzone table. that all arrived along with my Veer-Myn stuff, so it's kind of sitting in line of sight. That's why I'm mentioning that. So there'll be some stuff like that, and I think the handy stuff, like you say, Palmsy, it comes out of a necessity. If I need to build something, I tend to do that kind of stuff as well. But yeah, I'm sure that'll come along at some point, mate. Scott saying, well worth the Patreon pledge. Just wished I could pledge more. Never ever worry about wishing you could pledge more, mate. Anybody that pledges is going like above and beyond. If you think I'm coming up to 8,000 subscribers now, and I've got about 75 Patreons, you're like 75 people out of those 8,000 that are already going above and beyond. Like no matter how much you pledge, so never feel like you should do more. Like honestly, it's like all by the same pledge for the other 7,000 and whatever. Never feel you should feel obliged to. I only want you to do it if you can afford it, and two, you really want to do it. Gene saying nice, maybe remembering manual dexterity of a 12-year-old. Tony says you're doing exactly what I expected. The fact you're juggling family time and little and makes it impressive, gives something to look forward to in the future. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well. Actually, it's maybe given me a chance to not just get thrown at the deep end, really, of just like, oh, you've got all this time on your hands now, you better make the most of it. Maybe it's given me a chance to kind of ramp up the content, which is good. Mike says, better content than I expected when I first joined, and seems you keep stepping it up, also taking up calling people mate and saying cheers. I think I use lots of different adjectives for like to say thank you to people, like mate, buddy, fella. I use a lot because otherwise I feel like when I'm answering comments, I say the same comment to everybody, and I don't want people to think it's just kind of like a cut and paste thing. I actually do like answer every single comment with a comment. It's not, I haven't just copied it from like 10 different answers. Where else are we? Peter says, as long as you remain true to yourself and you enjoy it. I'm loving it, mate. I'll be honest, I'm loving it. Yeah. Christian saying, you're welcome, mate, and cheers for joining me. Horrid person, Gene there saying, good on you, Andy, the shitbags, mate, in the Corona card game Kickstarter. That is appalling, mate, to be fair. Mike G saying, that's it right there. Kieran saying, regarding content, I like the addition for a while now of the chilled hobby video, extra vids during the week like Drowned Earth stuff, a nice extra thing to browse and watch. I know these kind of like hobby things they don't grow the channel, they don't grow the community, but they are for the community. Like, they're for people like you. Like for you folks are kind of like that, whether you're in the like sort of like deep into the community and you're posting to Facebook every day and all kind of stuff, whether you're Patreon members, all that kind of thing. That this is basically like this is to give back to you as well. This is to get for a chance for everybody to kind of hang out and get together, because nobody's going to join they subscribe to the channel just for the hobby video type things. The Monday night live streams, when they're very kind of game focused or when they're topic focused, they do drive a little bit of kind of sort of subscribers and things like that. But again, they're mainly community stuff. I know if I want to grow this over the long term, I need to do those like kind of pre-recorded better videos, if you like. But it's a mix. I enjoy doing this stuff. This Wednesday night stream is a perfect opportunity for me to sit and paint stuff and chat to you, when I would have to sit and paint stuff to film videos anyway. So this kind of stuff, as long as you lot want to come and watch it, I'll keep doing them, kind of thing. Where we at? Yes, sorry, that was Kieran saying that. Mark was saying, I love the post editing with the cards detail showing. I intend to do more of that, mate. There's a lot of games where all of the kind of the cards and stuff are digital online, and you can get some really nice crisp images. Unfortunately, that wasn't available for the Drowned Earth stuff, so I literally had to just use my phone, kind of take pictures of them and crop them out and put them over the top. I intend to kind of be a bit more professional with that. I was on a bit of a deadline as well, which meant the editing time was cropped right down as well. So I didn't have time to kind of animate some of that stuff that I'd like to do in the future. But yeah, I've got loads of ideas how I would improve on it if I'd had more time to do it. Like, bearing in mind that I finished recording those 2 videos at, it must have been about 6 o'clock on Sunday night. And Monday, in between looking after the little one while my wife was working, and the live stream, like from getting up in the morning and the live stream on the night time, I edited 2 full videos together. and then I uploaded them because I ran out of time. I uploaded them on Tuesday morning because I thought the Kickstarter was going live about 7 o'clock at night, and it didn't. It went live at 11 o'clock in the morning. So I ended up like sort of uploading and doing thumbnails and all that stuff on Tuesday morning. So I basically was running to a deadline with the editing. I did as much as I could in the time I had, which is why I spent more time putting stuff into the intro one rather than I did into the kind of the longer scenario one afterwards. I just basically ran out of time. But in the future, when there is no deadline like that, when I'm just creating those videos for myself and for the channel, yeah, they'll be kind of like higher quality, that kind of stuff. George is saying, like the content, but why you were always in my bedroom? Shh, just watching. Gene said, I like to see your take on bros and badges. Yeah, Tim got me the stuff, to be fair, and I've said many times I'm halfway through painting it. I need to just kind of knuckle down and get it done. Steve Cloak saying, loving the content, or when you mentioned the Mantic special for Star Saga and here's an Eagle bundle, the missus said, if I open the Mantic site, then I'm banned from watching anymore. Sorry, mate. Scott said, I love the content of the channel and the fact that you're giving the lesser known games a good mention. That's why I stick around. I think the Drowned Earth is a good example of, if I was setting up my channel to make money from views and from ad revenue, I'd have to do 40k. And it's the reason why I can't set up to do it that way, because I would never get enough views from a subject like that. I would either have to be paid by the company, which means I struggle to give my own opinions, or I would need to do content that was to the masses. And I don't necessarily want to cater to the masses. I like doing content around lesser known games. And the companies, these independent small companies, don't always have they don't always have the funds, basically. I mean, they'll go to Beasts of War and they'll pay Beasts of War for a video because they want to get in front of 90,000 subscribers, but they don't always have the money to throw around. So I've structured this that basically, as long as the community want to fund it, then I'm willing to kind of invest time and effort and money as well into promoting lesser known games and putting games that you don't see everywhere else. Games that like maybe might just be a rule set. Games that maybe, you know, nobody's even heard of yet. They're brand new and that actually nobody's searching for on YouTube. It gives me the opportunity to do that, and I think that it kind of sets me apart from other channels. It gives me a little bit of an edge in a certain respect, is that actually you can come here and see lots of variety of different things. I enjoy it. Therefore, I'll keep doing it because I'm enjoying it. So I think it kind of, everyone wins, but yeah. Ian says, do you have any advice for doing bat rep videos? I would say do the kind of bat reps that you enjoy watching, because if you try and do something because you think it looks good on camera but you don't enjoy watching it, you'll struggle. I think it's easier with other people. If you can get 3 people together to do it, 1 person films while 2 play, you'll capture 2 people playing the game much better than if one of them is standing with a camera trying to film. If you're standing with a camera and you're trying to measure stuff as well, and as you're trying to measure and the camera drifts off to one side because you're leaning forward, I find the best thing is to try and set a camera up pointing at the shot you want to do, and know in advance what you're going to do. So kind of set the camera up, then do the action, then think about what you're going to do, measure it out, make sure it's going to do what you want to do, then set up the camera in the next shot, measure it out, roll your dice, that kind of stuff. That's what I would say. But if you're just kind of starting out, just try holding a phone or something like that and just try capturing it and just get a feel for it, because it's a lot different playing for a battle report as it is just playing with your mates, because you end up trying to remember 10 different things all happening at the same time. Is my microphone too loud? Have I got everything in shot? Has it focused on the right thing? Have I made a mistake? Am I remembering the rule right? Was my camera on? All this. Did my camera pick up the dice roll? All this kind of stuff. There's a lot to go through, really. Adam says, I mute the channel to use player poker as well. Scott says, and because of you, Mantic have made a small fortune from me with starting Walking Dead and now getting back into Deadzone. Not forgetting starting Infinity as well. Oh dear. Sorry, mate. Your bank balance won't be thanking me. Pat says, definitely enjoying the hobby stream midweek. My wife is enjoying your accent too, so don't change that. I can't change my accent, mate. There is no getting rid of this accent, definitely. I'm stuck with it now, mate. Yoakum says, I think all you do feels welcoming and easy, at least for someone quite new to miniature games. Makes me want to try out new games, so your material is encouraging. Thank you, Yoakum. The idea is basically, I think I'm kind of pitching myself at people maybe taking their first steps into miniature gaming and not quite sure what's out there or what to do or where to start. And also people who've been in the hobby for quite a while, but are maybe not the ultra competitive or maybe not the kind of hardened 40k players or something like that. I think it fits a bit of a niche that's not always covered elsewhere. So I appreciate that you feel that way. Excuse me. Scott said he's enjoyed the paint along tonight. Usually he's just watching. Tony says the hobby stream is literally mates around the table chewing the fat while painting. And Peter says, I second that, although I'm running out of chewing fat. Barry just knocked off to work. Not off of work. Have to start dinner. Have a great night. Really enjoyed the stream. Thank you, Barry. I really appreciate that too, mate. David says, another pro of doing lesser known games is if they blow up, you'll put in a ton of views. There is that as well, mate. There is that. I think the problem is not many of them blow up though, do they? George says, one of his lesser known games, The Shadows of Brimstone on a Wild West later thing, Dracula's America. These are all kind of things that I need to get to be fair. Anyway, I'm going to do a little bit more painting because time's getting on now. We've got 11:15. We've been going sort of almost 3 hours now. What's that? 2 hours, 47 minutes we've been going. I want to try and I'm going to get a wash. In fact, no, was I painting? I'm painting those red at the moment, aren't I? It's a good job I got this wet palette. This would have dried up ages ago if I hadn't. So we'll get those bits. We'll paint these bits in. Scott was just saying there, I like the relaxed attitude. Yeah, sorry, Barry, heading off. See you, Barry. Thanks for coming in, mate. Scott said, I also like the relaxed attitude of the group and yourself. It has kicking back to relax with a beer in hand, something you don't see. Yeah, it's a funny one. I think you get two different kind of things with a lot of channels. You either get the ones who think that they need to be kind of mega professional and they start to try and like emulate like the big YouTube channels, if you like, because their aim is to be a big YouTube channel. So they spend a fortune on camera equipment and lighting, and they start doing fancy graphics and animation and fancy intros, and all that kind of stuff, all that kind of good stuff. But they kind of forget that it's about the content itself, and that actually if people don't enjoy it, it doesn't matter how good it looks. If nobody's really enjoying it, like first and foremost, people have to kind of relate to you, I think. And if it looks like you're just trying to be some kind of like smarmy YouTuber, I think that people see through that, and it's like a false personality type thing. The other side of it is you also get channels where it literally is just folks just with their mates, just kind of kicking back and having fun, which is awesome. But then I think sometimes they kind of forget that your audio quality needs to be good enough that people can hear what you're saying clearly. And if it gets really loud 1 minute and then really quiet the next, or the camera keeps going out of focus, people will cut you some slack for a certain amount of time, but then eventually they'll just go, oh, Jesus Christ, I cannot watch this anymore. Like it's like some battle reports are kind of like the shaky hand camera thing, and you can get like motion sick watching some of them. So there's a bit of a fine balance, I think, and without kind of blowing my own trumpet, I think I kind of fit into that little middle ground a little bit. I feel like I'm kind of like I've invested in the right places so the quality is good enough, but not to the point of trying to like be the next Casey Neistat or something like that, and you know, like becoming like a million subscriber channels. Not, you know, I kind of feel like it's out of my reach. It's never going to happen. Even being 100,000 subscribers kind of feels like it's out of my reach. So I'm better off concentrating on my little kind of corner of the internet, if you like. Mark says, I don't think you realise how much people appreciate this hangout. The social gathering is the chance to chat and paint without leaving the house. I don't think I do, mate. If I'm honest, I don't think I do appreciate it. Really, it's kind of hard, really, when you're on this side of the camera, I guess. But I appreciate it. People keep turning up, so yeah, maybe they do it more than I appreciate. Yoakum says, got to sleep. Great stream. Good night. Good night, Yoakum. Thank you for coming in, my friend. Kelly says, seems Burrows and Badges is blown up. Oswan had to shut down a couple of days just to cast enough minis for orders. I did read that, actually. It sounds like they are kind of picking up. Six in the Head says, I watch a few other streams now and again, but this is the best community, hands down. I kind of feel proud of that. And I know it's not just me. It's not, I'm not like taking full responsibility. I might have set up the channel that everybody's kind of congregated in, but people being really nice to each other and kind of helping each other out in the time of need, that's the community. That's not my doing, kind of thing. But I am really proud of the fact that I think it's one of the best communities, and certainly within tabletop gaming. I can't think of many that I would say is or better, if you like. I just think everybody is generally kind of on the same wavelength. We might have different opinions about things. And we might not always agree on stuff, but I think we're always on the same kind of wavelength of, like, if we don't agree, we're willing to hear other people's kind of point of views. It's not an echo chamber. We have different opinions, but are willing to give each other the space to kind of to talk about it, really. So. Peter saying he didn't get his Burrows and Badges miniatures yet. Can't decide which ones. Yeah, they're all nice, mate, aren't they? That's why. Christian saying, yeah, there's been a lot of new members to the Burrows and Badges Facebook group. Scott says he watches Battlehammer. They're hilarious. They're nice guys, actually. I know them both, not really well. I've met them a few times, and they are both nice guys, actually. Kelly says I had a Burrows and Badges order shipped 16 days ago. Keep running the mail, hoping every day I get there. Some of us might be smart arses. So you're not the only ones, though. I'm a bit of a smart arse at times as well. So yeah, we're all in this together, folks. What are you thinking, folks, about this strapping across, like these kind of bits across here? Should I do metallics, or should I do the same kind of strapping as the arms and legs? I feel like it should be the same as that, shouldn't it? That's where I kind of think that's kind of where my head's at. I'm also wondering what I should do with this gun and stuff as well, but I'll get to that at a later point, I think. I'll mix a bit more paint while I'm there. Yeah, George is saying the same. I kind of thought that as well, George. Let's get a bit more paint in my thing here. Scott saying, what colour are you painting the drill handles? I haven't got that far, mate, to be fair. I'm not really sure. Tony saying, we're always respectful of each other, which is a rare gem in this world of vitriolic social media. Yeah, I agree. Like, as an example, like, Tiberius, if he's still around, Tiberius Wallace, if he's not, I'm sure he won't mind me saying this, but he's quite an opinionated guy. He's got like some strong opinions on things. And he's a Scotsman, so he's kind of, he's vocal in saying it as well. And me and him don't always agree on stuff, but we've never come to blows over anything. Like, we always I like to have those conversations with him, because I like to hear other people's point of views. You learn nothing in life just being surrounded by people who agree with you. Like, how will I ever know if I'm right or wrong if I don't hear another opinion? And I like that about this group, that there are people who will challenge. There are people who have different opinions, but it's all done with respect. Six in the Head saying, I think other communities can be a bit cliquey sometimes. Everyone here is friendly to everyone as much as possible. Yeah, I worry sometimes, mate, that others may perceive that we're a bit cliquey. And I want to make sure that's not the case. I don't think they do. But then it's very hard to be objective when you're in the middle of it. So if anybody's new here and they do feel like that they don't feel welcome or anything like that, I would much prefer they told me that and tell me why, so I can kind of keep an eye on it. I don't think that's the case. But like I say, it's hard to be objective when you're kind of in the center of it. So but like I say, I don't think that is the case. So that's the E on the wrap there at the back. I've just noticed. I haven't painted that yet. So there's the pink paint coming out again. Where is this? Adam's saying the most important question: are you putting gore on the drill bits? Do you know what it is? If the model hadn't been red, I might have done. I think I might wait until they're all finished and see if it needs it or not. But it would look cool, wouldn't it? Mike says, what brought me in was you were covering the lesser known games and doing it well. Everybody's doing GW stuff and I really don't need to see any more. I have my faves and don't need more of the same. That's kind of what I think, mate. Peter saying you're so right, Andy. I'm not sure what that was about, but I thank you for being right. Six in the Head says, a wise man learns from everybody. Yeah, Twitter is bad for that, because it's very easy to just kind of block the people that you don't agree with. And what happens is you end up just surrounded by people who have exactly the same opinions that you do. And you start to think that everybody in the world agrees with what you think. So as soon as you come across somebody that doesn't agree with you, you instantly think, well, they're obviously wrong because everybody else I know says I'm right. So, yeah, I don't want it to become like a kind of echo chamber. Where are we at? Yeah, Busy saying just don't mention Boris. Yeah, Kelly Cordell says gotta cook something out night all night. Kelly, thanks for dropping in. Jean saying you're too far away to come to blows with. That's what it is. Mike G says night, Kelly. Tiberius, there he is. I knew he was here. What do you mean? I haven't fallen asleep. I knew you'd still be here, buddy. I knew you'd be around. That's why I singled you out, because I love you. I love the fact that you've got an opinionated point of view, and the fact that you keep getting kicked off Twitter and Facebook for having those opinions. It's nice to kind of challenge what people think all the time. Marco says we also win general knowledge quiz, hands down. We rocked it. We did. Oh, you did. I was reading the questions out. Pomsy said, I think anybody new here gets a welcome from somebody, not always the case elsewhere. I think that's the case as well, mate, to be fair. I just want to kind of make sure that I'm not missing or misjudging that, to be fair. But I don't think I am. I definitely feel the same way that you do there. Where are we? Yeah, Gene saying, speak of the devil. Scott says, we want a clicky group. I find the group very welcoming. I find the group very welcoming to new joiners. That's good, mate. It's good to hear. Ben saying, having a recent newbie to the Discord, found everyone welcoming. Glad to hear that too, Ben. Steve saying, always nice with everyone in the group, unless Claudio's in the chat. Adam says, a real dark crimson would still look good. I'm tempted to do something. You know, when you mix glue and like the blood god stuff, and you can make it really stringy. I think was it you, Marco, had done something with kind of like blood strings recently, or was it with like kind of like, oh, I think it was like on an alien miniature. You did like kind of like like saliva drops and stuff. Something like I was thinking would be good, like proper gore. Simon says that the support I got from my post about motivation today in Facebook group was amazing. It certainly does not feel clicky. Awesome, mate. That's the kind of thing I want to hear, mate. That's good. Scott saying you should use some rust effect on the drills. I got that rust effect, actually. That riser rust, I think. I might try. Would it look bad? I don't, again, know the orange. I'll have to think about it. Krabby saying he's not falling asleep either. I was sure you'd gone by now, mate. Adam says the Mantic group seem very welcoming and supportive too. Yeah, I think 99% of it is. I think sometimes they sometimes come to blows over the odd thing. Normally Kings of War fanatics when there's some rule change or something. But yeah, they're a good bunch in general. Busey's saying, looking forward to his stream tomorrow. Yeah, anybody looking for a stream tomorrow night? I'm not streaming. I'm having a day off tomorrow. But if anybody else is looking for a stream, Krabby Vision, please check out his channel. He is live streaming tomorrow. So yeah, if you want to sit and paint tomorrow and do something, please go and check it out. Mark was saying, yeah, it was the saliva for the nemesis. That was it, mate. I knew I'd remembered it. Uhu glue does that. I knew there was a certain kind of glue and I couldn't remember what it was, mate. I've also seen somebody like melting clear plastic. You know, the plastic like fly-in bases. I've seen people kind of heating them up like with a flame like a lighter and like stretching them out as well, doing something similar. Christian, check what time the stream is. I think it's set for 8 o'clock tomorrow. And Tony saying, "I wish you're a rock star. Love chatting with you." Yes, I love them chats too. Yeah, Stringy Blood is the go. Yeah, super glue, mate. That's what I was kind of thinking. No, mate, I was reading, so tuned out for a bit by watching them. That's all right, mate. You don't have to worry about that. Just as long as you're doing all right, mate. That's all. Right, how are we doing? 3 hours of streaming. Do I want to go any further, or am I getting too tired to start making mistakes? Some nights I can paint and talk and get like loads done, and other nights I get into the chat as well, so I kind of forget I'm meant to be painting at the same time. So I have no idea how interesting they are to watch back for people who are not part of the chat, but I enjoy it. It keeps me going. So. And actually, I have to kudos to Mantic as well. I am really enjoying painting this model. And I'll be completely honest, as you know, I always will be. There have been plenty of Mantic models over the years that I have not been that impressed with, and it's felt like a chore to get through them. These ones are not those ones. These ones are really detailed. Like, if this was a Games Workshop miniature, like people would not be like if this was a Games Workshop miniature, right? I reckon you'd pay probably between 10 and 15 quid for this. If this was something for say for Necromunda or something, you'd pay 10 or 15 quid for that model quite easily, in plastic as well, the same as this is. There's plenty of detail on it. There's hardly any mold lines. There wasn't very much to clean off, to be fair. So it's a nice clean sculpt. And I think this is what happens, like when you look sometimes on the Mantic website, sometimes the pictures don't always sort of scream just how nice they are. Sometimes I wish they just showed a picture of the unpainted model, so you could actually see what it looked like in bare plastic. Because they've got so many different kinds of materials that they've used over the years, I never know whether it's that kind of the cheaper like styrene plastic type stuff, whether it's the kind of PVC board game mini stuff, or whether it's like the proper like hardened plastic like this. So sometimes it would be good to actually just see what it is. Crabby saying, "Appreciate your support, Andy, means a lot, and actually from the whole BlackJack community, thank you all sincerely." You are welcome, mate. You know if you ever need anything, mate, you've just got to ask, mate. If you need any advice or any help or any of that kind of stuff, mate, you know if I can, I'll certainly help you out. So, yeah, it's good to see you doing some stuff, mate. I've been watching some of your streams back actually, and it's nice to I can see you getting more comfortable on the streams, so it's good. Adam says, "Don't mind watching them back too. I have to listen to what you're talking about while I'm doing other stuff." Nice one. Also, while I'm kind of plugging bits and pieces as well. 6 in the head there, old Palmsy. He's been doing some Twitch streaming as well. I've noticed he kind of starts after my Monday night live stream is finished when I'm just going to bed, which is not helpful after I've just done like 2 hours stream or something like that. I'm normally like, I need to just kind of like relax for a bit, wind down, and then go to bed. So he's been streaming late. So depending on your time zones, please go and check out 6 in the Head over on Twitch as well. And I think people are starting to head off now, I think. So I think we'll call it a night there then, folks. Thank you so much, every single one of you, for coming in tonight. It was much appreciated. Thank you, as always, to the people that pledged tonight, Matt, and also to the Patreons as well, who continue to support the channel and make all this stuff work. If you aren't a Patreon and you'd like to check it out, please do check it out. There'll be a link down in the description below, or if you're watching this back, please do check the link in the description below. I will be back on Monday for a normal Monday night live stream. I'm not sure if I'll have another video this week or not. It depends what happens with the weather in the weekend. I'm doing some stuff on Saturday, but I might film on Saturday for the next week rather than just like crashing it straight out kind of thing. But I will definitely be back for Monday night live stream. I'll get it set up nice and early so you can see what the topic's about. And I'm going to have a day off tomorrow, so you might not see me around the Facebook group and stuff or stuff tomorrow. I'm going to have a proper day off. So take care, everyone. Take it easy, and I'll see you all on Monday. Thanks for watching my video. I hope that you really enjoyed it. And if you did, why not consider clicking on the suggested video below to see more of the work that I've done. If you'd like to support the long-term sustainability of this channel, why not consider checking out my Patreon, where you can pledge and support from as little as $2 a month. And there is lots of different tiers and bonuses, which will give you access to a private Discord server. It will give you free t-shirts, free mugs, a podcast every month, and a number of other things, including getting your name at the end of every video, like these awesome folks who already support me now.